All right, I'm back. I wanted to make sure I had plenty of time for that whole thing to process and get out all by itself, because I need you guys to get out there and viral that last video. Now I'm going to run it again on this show, but I also have a lot of other stuff I have to run too. I wanted that to get out all by itself, what I found. All right, so I'm going to let this run again, and then we'll just kind of run from there. Good afternoon, folks, and I call this bullshit. I've read over the autopsy report. I'm sure many of you have as well. I've read over the 312-page police report from OSP. We've not seen anything from the FBI yet. But I've sat down and gone over this with a fine-tooth comb. And, well, one would hope that one is wrong. But I want you to note some things here real fast. Alright, so we go over and we're looking at crime scene photos that they have. We did that yesterday. Alright, but this is a Ruger SR9 we see right here. Okay? This thing is clean as a baby whistle. I mean, it is clean. Clean, clean, clean. It's like somebody cleaned it before they even put it on the table to start off with. Now I want you to note something very fast, because we're going to cover 2 points in this presentation right now. First of all, this Ruger SR9 that we're seeing right here, I want you to notice, let me get my mouse in the right spot. I want you to notice this point right here, alright? This is a hollow. In this particular Ruger SR9, there's a hollow spot here. It's not completely hollow, but it's kind of where you can run a string or a strip or a strap or a price tag or something right through there, but it is hollow. And that's where the magazine goes. But this is semi-hollow. Okay? You guys seen that okay? I hope. Alright, so I'm going to get that out of the way, and I want to go show you something else. Alright, let's just focus on the gun itself for a minute. This completely clean gun, completely clean stock, okay? It's a little hollow. Well, look what we got here. This little hollow is not clean. This part of the gun is not clean. It looks like a gun somebody owned and used. Not a brand spanking new, untouched SR9. Now here's the other thing. And as soon as my wife gets back, we're going to go over this really quick. My wife is a seamstress. Alright, so just so you understand what you're looking at right now. Alright, here's his inside pocket, or his inside jacket, and then here's the outside denim jacket. Now I know of absolutely, and I made a couple calls to find out, Carhartt jacket. Stand by, I'll be right. Alright, I'm waiting for my wife to come back. But anyways, Carhartt jacket, I went to every catalog in Carhartt. None of them actually have this this pocket actually in them when you buy the jacket. Okay? All right, so we're going to look at this pocket really good. And then I'm going to show you something after that. Let's just forget the gun. Let's just talk about this pocket.
Well, to me, the pocket looks like it's too far over on the buttonhole side. I mean, in this picture, it looks like it would get in the way of the buttonholes when you wanted to button your jacket.
Yeah, the button line. Because here's the button line. Okay? This is the stitching from the inside breast pocket. This is under the inside breast pocket. You know, there's his belt line. That's his hands. They had him face down with his handcuffed. All right, so they've taken this picture, and of course we don't see the top of it. We have a button line here that has been completely interfered with this supposed pocket. Okay?
And that's in a very awkward position anyway, because the gun would be a little heavy, right?
The gun would be hugely heavy.
And wouldn't it be like flapping against your waist when you walked, which would be very uncomfortable?
Right. And not only that, if he had a pocket that big for a gun the size of an SR9, there's no way they could properly sew that in there. That pocket would have been purposely put in aftermarket to actually insert something that big in the pocket. Every now and then, you know, my wife sometimes fixes pockets or whatever. My jackets, it's usually just so I can put something inside there or whatever.
Are those rivets on the right-hand side?
No, that's rivets on his pants.
No, on the white pocket.
No, they're not rivets.
Over there on the right side, what's that? Is that rivets?
That's a dot. All right, so here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to start blowing this up.
I was going to say, because most people don't have a rivet.
Yeah, there's no rivet. This is...
Oh, okay.
All right?
It looked like rivets.
All right, so we have this supposed pocket here. But here's what I'm trying to get you folks to see right now. And I'm hoping you'll see it all by yourself as we go. I want you to see something. What do you see, Liz?
Well, I don't know what you want me to see, but
I'm not telling you what to see. I want to know what you see.
Okay, in this picture up here, is that the top part of the gun?
Well, this is the back side of the gun.
So it looks like it would be very... it doesn't look like it would be any kind of a quick draw.
No. Here is what I'm looking at. Okay, here's a buttonhole. Here's a buttonhole. There's a buttonhole. All these buttonholes are going this way. What the hell is this? See what I'm pointing at? What the hell is this? And all of this. Okay, we're going to blow it up one more bit. Again, what the hell is this? That does not belong. It's not even the same freaking color.
No, it is not.
No. And we'll blow it up one more time.
It's that's a very different color.
All right, folks, what are you seeing? Now we see something matching this buttonhole going the whole wrong damn direction, isn't it? Not the same color, not the same tint.
It's not a pocket flap.
And I did make a mistake. It sounded like I was saying this is a buttonhole, but it's not a buttonhole, it's a bleach line. But do notice this right here, it's cut off. That this isn't possible. Not the same grain of the material. See, the grain of the material goes this way. Grain of the material on this goes this way. And now what are we starting to see as I blow this up? We're starting to see Photoshop paste lines.
Boy, you sure are.
I hope you folks are seeing exactly what I am seeing. This does not fit. This is an impossible pocket that has been punched in there after the fact. All right? See? This right here. We got pixel change between here and here, and we got Photoshop fading over here. And then we got all this, whatever the hell it is over here. How the hell did that get over his hand, even though he's on his back? But this is what I'm talking about. This is photoshopped.
You know, now that you've gone that blown up, it's very obvious.
It's obvious as shit because, you know, this isn't even the same tint and color.
The end of the buttonhole is covered over. What does that even go to?
Where's the rest of this? Shouldn't that finish?
That's not even a usable flout.
Yeah. So what happened to the rest of this? Why isn't that finished up? Because that should go to some kind of logical end, not just chop off whatever the hell it is.
And aside from the fact that this is a different material and a different direction, even if this was hidden behind the jacket and you folded the flap out, what is it buttoned to?
He's on his back with his handcuffs, and they pulled his jacket out supposedly to take a picture.
Yeah.
Now, if I put on a denim jacket and put a 9 in my breast pocket inside and laid on there, and you pulled my jacket over, and I held my hands behind my back, what the hell is this? And I'm kind of surprised. Usually people catch this crap before I do. Because, you know, they focus on one thing, and I'm usually focusing on 90 things. But this is bullshit. This is a lie. This pocket is also impossible. Because if he has a pocket that doesn't interfere with this button line, this pocket would have had to wrap around to about the middle of his chest on the other side.
Exaggeration.
So there you
get
go,
what I'm
police.
saying.
You're busted in another one of your fucking lies. I busted you this time. And many more people are going to bust you right on down the line. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And again, folks, see this again. This isn't the same gun because it's a little dirty. I said that first because they had a nice shiny 9 on the table they took first. But this is clearly and obviously cut and paste. This is Photoshop because that isn't possible. It's not even the same tint or color. And why do we got a whatever this is, scrape, buttonhole, bleach, whatever. Where the hell did this come from? Where does it go? And why does it cut off right there? Riddle me that, Batman. And I want everybody to see this, so I'm going to cut this live stream right now so this goes up fast. And I'll be back with the rest of the day's news. Thank you very much.
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty well adapted because of my time in the Marine Corps, and mostly because of being in the Marine Corps. Spent a lot of time on the Navy ships, floating around with the Navy, so being cooped up in small spaces with a lot of dudes is nothing new to me.
And how do you feel about the case against you? And I guess I'm trying to get a sense as to where your mind is right now in regards to what the government's been saying about you.
Well, there's a lot to say. There's a lot on my mind, and that's why I was kind of saying that it'll be really good to sit down face to face, because there's so much to talk about, so much to discuss, and so many things to explain. Mainly, like, I knew this was coming one day. I speak out against government tyranny and injustice quite a bit, quite loudly on social media and in face-to-face conversation with people.
This call is from a federal prison.
And eventually, when you speak out loud enough for long enough, the government's going to notice you. And I got myself noticed. Eventually, they found an opportunity to come after me for exercising my Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. And I'm going to fight it, and hopefully the case will eventually end up in the Supreme Court. And I don't know, maybe some laws will get repealed. Kind of doubt it, but I got to fight.
Skyler, when you look at the criminal complaint against you, it sort of talks about things that sound like they are threats against people, judges, that type thing, or a judge. And I didn't know, how you respond to that, the characterization that somehow you are a threat to society.
The only people I'm a threat to are people that have evil intents. Bad guys, if you want to call them that. I'm a very passive person. I don't like violence. I stay away from violence. I mean, I've only been in one fight my whole life, and that was in the 7th grade. I try to be diplomatic, and I'm a problem solver. So I try to avoid violence at all costs, because I don't like violence. But I will defend myself, and I will defend others against injustice. Particularly the one situation with me threatening a judge, the government believes or may have been trying to portray that I was maybe going to remove a judge in California by violent means. What really was going on was I had a misdemeanor case. I did some investigation of the county and found that my judge had no oath of office signed. And I got a copy from the county clerk, and I confronted him during my arraignment hearing down there, and I said, Your Honor, you've got an unsigned oath of office. And he tried to say that he did sign it, and I'm like, well, you didn't. I've got the copy right here. There's no signature on this. And I had talked among some other people, some friends, associates of mine, about going and removing him from the courtroom and trying to work with the sheriff, because the sheriff's office is part of the same building, to remove the judge out of the courtroom because he's basically an imposter. He's got an unsigned oath of office, and he's committing fraud upon the people, and in my case. And basically just kind of like saying, hey, Your Honor, you need to step down and get out of this building because, you have an unsigned oath. And having a special election, holding a special election through the county to hire or to get a new judge in there and have his oath properly signed. All the rest of the threats that I made were basically, hey, I'm minding my own business, leave me alone, I'm just trying to live my life, and if the government wants to come after me and try to do stuff to me or my friends, things that are outside the Constitution, trying to charge me or anybody else that with laws that are unconstitutional, well, I'm going to defend myself, I'm going to defend my friends and my fellow Americans against injustice. The Constitution is clear about what can be law and what cannot be. And if the people, we the people, don't hold our government accountable to the Constitution, the government's going to do whatever it wants. It's going to continue to pass law that's arbitrary, that does nothing. It's just a law that makes you a violator if you happen to go against it, so they can make you a felon, so they can take your rights away, so they can throw you in the prison industry. And I'm going to defend myself. Saying stuff about shooting law enforcement or whatever, yeah, I did say that stuff. But anytime I said anything like that, it was purely in
This call is from a federal prison.
It's purely in self-defense. I would never hurt anybody, and any of my friends and family, anybody that knows me, could testify to that I'm not out to try to hurt people. But I will defend myself. And I speak my mind. I don't beat around the bush. Government tries to get the people to censor their own free speech by saying, if you say things like this or like that, you're going to be charged with conspiracy, or you're going to be, it's hate crime, or it's something else. I'm not going to censor my freedom of speech. I'm not going to be afraid of the government. Thomas Jefferson once said, when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there is liberty. And I want freedom and liberty. That's all I want. I just want to, Declaration of Independence says that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. So the reason we have a government is to secure our rights, nothing else. And I just want to have my life, my liberty, and my pursuit of happiness without interference. And anything that threatens to interfere with my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, I'm gonna combat that threat.
Are you, Skyler, a danger as you've been portrayed to the public?
Not to the public, only to those who wish to do harm. I consider myself to be a protector of people, like a sheepdog against the wolves.
Skyler, can you repeat that?
I carry when I was still free, I carried my pistol everywhere I went because I wanted to be able to defend other people when such a situation would arise where, I have someone that wants to rob a store or rob a bank or whatever, or to do a mass shooting of some kind. I wanted to be there to stop that from happening. And I look for it in public. When I'm out in public, I walk around and I observe everyone around me and what they're doing, because I'm looking for somebody, a bad guy, doing something or about to do something he shouldn't be doing that could potentially harm somebody. I look for that, and I wait for that, because I consider myself to be a sheepdog. I don't want to hurt anybody. I never have, never will. Except if there's somebody out there that wishes to do harm on another, I'm gonna stop that. That's the only danger that I pose is to people who wish to do harm to others.
Skyler, the gun that you had in the car when you were arrested, was that a legal gun?
Well, it depends. There's a difference between legal and lawful. The Second Amendment says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What does that mean? What does infringe mean? What does arms mean? What's the definition of arms? Well, arms is any weapon. Swords, knives, guns, missiles, anything is arms. It's an all-inclusive term. And the gun that I had, the rifle that I had, falls under that definition of arms. So I have the right to keep and bear it per the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment says that it shall not be infringed. So the laws, the federal laws that say it's illegal to have that gun, infringe upon the Second Amendment. So if it infringes on the right, then how can it be a law? If you go to the Constitution and you read Article 6, it says, "This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof," referencing Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or the laws of any state to the contrary are notwithstanding. Anything to the contrary is notwithstanding. So the law, the code, the U.S. code that I'm being charged with violating is notwithstanding because it infringes on my right to keep and bear arms. There's American jurisprudence, 16th American jurisprudence. I don't remember the pages off the top of my head, but it basically says that any law that's repugnant to the Constitution, nobody has to obey it. Nobody is bound to obey it, and no court is bound to enforce it. It's null and void. If it's not in compliance with the Constitution, it's null and void. It's notwithstanding. And that's what Article 6 says. So, because I read the Constitution, I study it, I look at what it says, and if I see anything that is contrary to it, I don't have to obey it, because it's unconstitutional. Yeah. Second Amendment's clear.
You got about 30 seconds.
Bear arms not be infringed.
Yeah, about 30 seconds left. Quickly, there is a standoff tonight at the Malheur National Refuge. The FBI has surrounded the compound there with the remaining people. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know how much I can talk about that on the phone here, because, I mean, just conversation might get me in trouble. I kind of knew this was going to end up the way it has. It's unfortunate that our government sees things the way they do, and I wish that they would abide by the Constitution. Justin, you might be able to show them Article 1, Section 8, Clause 16 about where it says what government, what land.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI here in Oregon. The FBI, along with our partners at the Harney County Sheriff's Office, the Oregon State Police, and the many other state, federal, and local agencies that we have been working with, have had a very deliberate and measured response.
Oh my God! Stay down. He's dead?
These individuals have chosen to threaten and intimidate the America they profess to love.
Hey, that's Judy! Don't do anything. Go to bed. What the hell is Lavoy?
And through criminal actions, bring these consequences upon themselves.
Okay, they got lasers still on us.
We got lasers still on us. Lavoy got out. I think they killed Lavoy.
Oh! Yeah.
The FBI, with our partners, took the first steps to bring this occupation to a conclusion. We worked to ensure that we could do so peacefully and safely.
We're hunkered down in here trying not to shot.
8 people were arrested, and 1 man died yesterday as we attempted to take him into custody. Let me be clear. It is the actions and choices of the armed occupiers of the refuge that has led us to where we are today. They had ample opportunity to leave the refuge peacefully. And as the FBI and our partners have clearly demonstrated, actions are not without consequences.
Hey, that's Judy! Don't do anything. Go to bed. What the hell is Lavoy? There's shit over here on this door.
I got him too.
As I conclude, I want to share my promise to the citizens of this county, to the people who live here, who work here, who are raising their families here, that we will continue to look for safe, peaceful procedures on how to bring this to a peaceful conclusion.
I can see a laser coming in.
Good morning, I'm Sheriff Dave Ward. I've been working on peaceful resolution of this problem since November 5th. I'm disappointed that a traffic stop yesterday that was supposed to bring peaceful resolution to this ended badly.
Stop! Please! Stop!
Multiple agencies, law enforcement agencies put a lot of work into putting together the best tactical plan they could to take these guys down peacefully.
Shooting more gas around the gas is pretty thick in here.
It didn't have to happen. We all make choices in life. Sometimes our choices go bad.
Please protect us, God. Please protect us.
There doesn't have to be bloodshed in our community.
They just shot gas rounds into the car.
I can't breathe.
We have issues with the way things are going in our government. We have a responsibility as citizens to act on those in an appropriate manner. We don't arm up. We don't arm up and rebel. We work through the appropriate channels.
Well, that's all fine and good until all the channels are broken. Oh, Comcast!
This is Lavoy Finicum with One Cowboy Stand for Freedom. It's September 2014. I'm out here on my ranch. It's great out here. The rains have come this summer. The grass is tall. It's still green. My cows are fat. My water tanks are full. Just feeling really grateful for all the blessings that I'm enjoying right now. Love being out here. Don't have a cell phone. It's peaceful. You know, I feel like when I'm out here that all's well, all's right, nothing's wrong, no worries, and I love this life out here. But it doesn't take too much to see that dark storm clouds are gathering, and we really need to open our eyes if they're not already open. We need to take care of those we love. We need to have our houses in order. We need to have our relationships in order. We never know how many days we have on God's green earth here, and we need to make the best of each and every one of them. But about those storm clouds that are gathering, it's easy to see that our government has eviscerated the Constitution. They are a lawless government, unwilling to be governed by the supreme law of the land, by the laws that we the people placed upon them. And so what do? This thing isn't going to be solved legislatively. It's too far gone. There's too few politicians with real conviction, with real courage. The establishment is too firmly entrenched. We're not going to turn this thing around legislatively. The judiciary is in large measure corrupt too, insofar as they are unwilling to adjudicate on the simple Constitution. And you look at the executive branch, it is just amassing power unto itself, governing by dictate, by fiat, and by executive order, completely outside of the powers that we the people gave them. So what do? And as I pondered on this, I wondered, where is the right and the wrong? Where is that line where it's wrong and where it's right in resisting this? And and I come across some words by a man that I respect a lot by the name of Ezra Taft Benson. And he asked that question. He said, is it morally right to resist tyranny? And then he answers his own question by saying, I believe, or he said, with all the fervor of my soul, I believe that God intended man to be free. And then he went on to say that rebellion against tyranny is a righteous cause. So there you have it. That's exactly how I feel. It's good to read and hear other people that feel the same way. He went on to say that the fight for freedom is God's fight. So when a man stands for freedom, he stands with God. And as long as he stands for freedom, he stands with God. And even if he stands alone, he still stands with God. A man will be eternally vindicated and rewarded for his stand for freedom. So, the way I do the math, I think there's about 50 million Americans out there that love freedom as much as I do. They're willing to put their lives on the line, their fortunes, their sacred honor, as our founding fathers did in the beginning, because the conflict that's building, the storm clouds that are gathering, are over this very same issue. Will man be free, or must he be coerced? And me, for one, I'm going to live my remaining days as a free man. Maybe long, maybe short. But I'm going to live as a free man. And so, what about you? My appeal is to you, 50 million. Those of you that are making the good fight, that are standing for freedom. And I believe we still should fight through the legislative avenue. But we know when our natural rights are being violated, when we are being trampled upon. And it's time for us to say, no, no more. Now, if your rights are being trampled on, if your property rights are being violated, I'll come and stand with you. You can reach me on Facebook, Lavoy Finicum, or at my email, lavoyfinicum@yahoo.com. I'll stand. You know, there's 50 million of us, I know. There's 50 million that's willing to stand and pull together and say, no, leave him alone. Leave his property alone. You know, no aggression, no hate, but willing to stand, willing to defend. By all means necessary, to say, leave us alone. Don't bother us. Let us raise our families. Let us enjoy this land upon which we live. Let us be free to make our own choices. It's a great land. It's a great country. I'm going to live as a free man. I invite you to stand up, defend the Constitution, the rights that are guarded by this document. Stand for freedom, stand for the Constitution. Have a good day, everyone. This is Lavoy Finicum. One Cowboy Stand for Freedom. See you later.
Well, of course, the ultimate job of the government is to control the population by telling you they're just taking care of you. And that is why this election cycle, they've really got to make sure they get their guy in there or their gal, because the establishment and the globalists have some very big plans. And they're already beginning to implement this surveillance state. And so this block is really important for you all to pay attention to, because if this system is up and going and there is no checks on what they are doing behind the scenes, it's not going to matter who we get in office. It's already, the control grid is set. The totalitarian surveillance state is a go. It'll be authoritarian, totalitarian, beyond your wildest dreams. And this is what's happening. So we're already starting to begin to see this happening now in high schools across America. This is a new FBI initiative. It's based on Britain's anti-terror mass surveillance program. They're instructing high schools to inform on students who express anti-government and anarchist political beliefs. So these are, they're saying that high school students are ideal targets for recruitment by violent extremists seeking support for radical ideologies, foreign fighter networks, or conducting acts of targeted violence within our borders. And so they're basically asking schools to now tell on people that might have these anarchist views. And of course, they're conflating constitutionalists with sovereign citizens, people who have those anti-government sentiments. But that's also all of you Bernie supporters out there as well, because it's anyone that has extreme anti-tax views. And yes, Bernie wants to take down the establishment. So yes, it's you too. It's not just Al-Qaeda. So people really need to be concerned. And of course, this is already getting parallel with East Germany's Stasi network. And of course, that served as the primary instrument of repression in communist East Germany. The government forged partnerships with businesses, state institutions, and social organizations. Everyone was telling on everyone. We're starting to see that here in America. We've got officials tracking children on social media. They're going to punish students for inappropriate posts that are made outside of school. So this is an Orwellian state-sponsored spying on children. It's going to give school administrators the ability to punish students for things that they do outside of school. And of course, there's always the issue of pre-crime, the crime you have not committed yet. There's new technology that's being worked on right now. Computers are already outperforming humans in predicting who will commit violent crime. So judges are going to be able to use this technology to dole out longer sentences for people that this computer determines might be someone who's going to become an offender in the future. And so if it's wrong, sorry for you, buddy. And of course, you know who else does this? Communist China. They're trying their hand at pre-crime. They've directed one of the country's largest state-run defense contractors, China Electronics Technology Group, to develop software that's going to collect and collate data on jobs, hobbies, consumption habits, and other behavior of ordinary citizens to predict terrorist acts before they occur. And of course, by terrorist attacks, they mean anything that could possibly take down the state. And when you think, oh, well, that's not a problem, don't forget the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, has already been mulling over the idea of whether or not to pursue civil action against climate change deniers. So that's an ideology that's, it's not a crime yet. But, a lot of police out there are people that are working for the man, just doing their job. You're not going to be exempt from this too. They also have algorithms that are going to be predicting police misconduct. So this is a group of scientists that are working as part of the White House's Police Data Initiative, and they're adapting sophisticated software for predicting when cops will go bad. So they're going to be tracking your interactions between officers and civilians, ranging from impolite traffic stops to fatal shootings. And of course, we know Apple just is trying so hard to not bow down to the FBI, telling them to create this software that's going to bypass security features on their phone. We've mentioned this is going to set an ultimate precedent. They're saying someday they're going to want Apple to turn on a user's camera or microphone. We can't do that now, but what if we're forced to do that? Where does it stop? If they want us to do it in a divorce case, an immigration case, a tax case, someday someone's going to ask them to do it, and they'll be forced to if this precedent is set. Now, we know that they're already doing things that they don't have the legal authority to do based on the Constitution. Posse Comitatus Act prohibits the military from operating on American soil, but a report released by the Pentagon Inspector General admits the military has already been using Predator and Reaper drones to surveil the American people. And heads up, at spring break, that's the latest policing tool that's going to be monitoring rowdy crowds of spring breakers as well as any protesters. They are already using drones, and don't forget, a lot of them already have weapons.
Remember when 2009 Nobel Peace Prize winner President Barack Obama bragged to his aides that he is really good at killing people in the book Double Down while discussing drone strikes? Well, just how good is he? Obama has managed to kill innocent civilians in Afghanistan with a 90% success rate. And according to the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, Obama's CIA drone strikes have killed children. And our commander-in-chief has bragged about it. The next time some liberal rattles on about how great Obama is, remind them of this horrifying statistic. And now, the Pentagon has finally issued a report made public by a FOIA request stating that unmanned military aircraft have been deployed on non-military missions that have occurred fewer than 20 times between 2006 and 2015 and always in compliance with existing law. Back in 2013, we caught a glimpse of the use of military drones in the United States when then FBI Director Robert Mueller testified before Congress.
Our footprint is very small. We have very few and of limited use, and we're exploring not only the use but also the necessary guidelines for that use.
Does the FBI use drones for surveillance on U.S. soil?
Yes.
The recent revelations of the robbery of liberty for supposed security by an out-of-control myriad of federal alphabet agencies is nothing new. Kurt Nimmo writes, a 400-page Defense Department document obtained by NBC News in 2004 revealed the Pentagon's increased domestic spying activity on anti-war groups following the 9/11 attacks. The CIA also spied on and subverted the anti-war movement with its Operation Chaos in the late 1960s. Additionally, the agency covertly launched Project Merrimack to infiltrate and subvert domestic political groups despite the CIA charter forbidding such activity. In 2012, Infowars.com reported on Obama's Environmental Protection Agency using aerial drones to spy on farmers and cattle ranchers in Nebraska and Iowa. The surveillance came under scrutiny after Nebraska's congressional delegation sent a joint letter to EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson. The EPA argued the flights are legal. Jackson said courts, including the Supreme Court, have found similar types of flights to be legal, and EPA would use such flights in appropriate instances to protect people and the environment from violations of the Clean Water Act. Oh, and what a stellar job the EPA is doing, as is evident in Durango, Colorado, and Flint, Michigan. Despite the fact the Posse Comitatus Act prohibits the military from operating on American soil, the Pentagon has busied itself with establishing drone bases within the United States. Public Intelligence, a nonprofit advocating free access to government information, released a map of military UAV activities inside the United States in 2012. According to the organization, it is not clear if the bases are used for foreign missions or domestic surveillance. A list produced by the Federal Aviation Administration in response to an Electronic Freedom Foundation Freedom of Information Act lawsuit also shows numerous drone bases within the continental United States. In June of 2015, drone pilots were walking off their jobs in droves. International Business Times reported a group of 45 U.S. military veterans have signed a letter appealing to pilots responsible for carrying out deadly aerial military drone strikes in countries like Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Pakistan to stand down and deliberately refuse to carry out their orders. The letter was submitted to U.S. media outlets by anti-drone group No Drones, pleading with drone pilots to refuse to fly surveillance and kill missions. It's as clear as the nose on your face. The level of treason required to ignore the Constitution, your fellow Americans' rights, and basic human empathy and compassion can only be stomached by the anti-American criminals calling the shots in the highest offices in Washington, D.C. John Bound for Infowars.com.
My fellow Info Warriors, I am very excited to be able to announce to you the introduction at InfoWarsLife.com of a new way to save time and money when you stock up on InfoWars Life formulations like Survival Shield X2 and Super Male Vitality. Just go to InfoWarsLife.com today, select your favorite product, click on Auto Ship before adding to cart, and choose how often you want us to send you another order. Every time you choose Auto Ship at InfoWarsLife.com, you get 10% off and you won't have to worry about running out and having to reorder next time. And of course, you can cancel with one click anytime. As you know, I'm all about the idea of a 360 win, and the new auto ship feature at InfoWarsLife.com is a sure win for everybody. A win for liberty, a win for health, and a win when it comes to big savings. Visit InfoWars.
Good evening, America. Defend your base here. Spreading the message of having to defend your Constitution and your lives, your state, your livelihoods, because these people, such as the ones that you see on the screen, Roland Waits, is not going to be doing so. Roland made a comment here on YouTube on the Oregonian Live website under their YouTube page stating that repeatedly Lavoy Finicum could have surrendered and he put these people's lives in danger. Except I have serious doubt that individuals such as Roland Waits and those who are commenting on the website stating that Lavoy Finicum put these people's lives are in danger. He incited the violence between the federal officers and the Oregon State Police and himself by, leading them on into a high pursuit chase down, whatever interstate roadway that was into a ambush site. Well, I think a lot of people continue to forget the fact that initially, the first round or shot that was fired was from the Oregon State Police at the passenger side mirror. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to see that on the video that was, taken by Shauna Cox. Obviously, she started filming after the fact. But, her statements and her claims have fallen in line with the videos that she's put out and that she has out, has fallen in line with her statements that she's made weeks prior to this video even being released. So I have very little doubt that her claims are false in any way, other than small details of information that was obviously it's difficult to be able to recall information and tell that information as accurate as possible under the tremendous amount of stress that she was going through. But coming back to this point of the individual that was on the screen, Roland Waits, he stated that he committed suicide by cop. In that it stated that he was shot when he appeared to have reached for his weapon or moved to his belt that looked like he was trying to draw a weapon on the officers. And that's when the officers initially started firing upon him. Well, that's completely false. Obviously, you can see the video from Shauna Cox that the vehicle was being fired upon prior to them even reaching the barricade. And then along with that, you saw Lavoy Finicum getting out of the vehicle. As soon as he exited the vehicle, you saw him throw his hands up. There was no drawing a weapon of any sort. And when he exited that vehicle, just before he was able to make it past the driver's side, rear passenger side window, both that window right there was shot out by the Oregon State Police and the federal government. Now, there are some federal government agents that are under investigation, so I'm hearing, and I don't know what the results will be, but obviously something wasn't done in protocol that they should have been following. And at that point, he didn't even draw or reach for a weapon. And it wasn't until he was fired upon on numerous occasions that he appeared to, reach down to his side, which, it's really hard. The credibility of the federal government and the Oregon State Police is shot when their accusations have been saying that they were shooting at him in response to him reaching down for his belt, when they were shooting at him way far prior to that even ever occurring. So, let's get that out of the way. It's mind-blowing and it's boggling to think that individuals like Roland or other people continue to make these statements that he was searching to be shot at, or he was seeking out to be, shot because he made his statements or whatever. It's just boggling that there's individuals who continue to believe this, and there's the video out there proving that that's not the case. So that's disturbing. So going on a little further, I saw Doom put out a video. He stated something about this being a hoax or a big conspiracy theory. Let's get over that. This has nothing to do with a hoax. This is a real life that has been taken from a family, daughters, a wife, father of somebody, somebody's son. And there's no hoax here, guys. Like, I don't even understand how this is even a debate. Like, that shouldn't even be brought up. That just blows my mind. So if people are arguing about the fact of whether or not this really happened or didn't happen, go look at the site. You know, I mean, you had plenty of time to go over there and probably still draw up some blood from the snow if you really wanted to. I mean, if you were that enthused about it or curious to find out, you could have gone to that step to go and figure out for yourself. And I mean, there's a family that could tell you that they don't have a father anymore. There's plenty of people that know other people that were involved in the whole thing, and their loved ones are in jail sitting there right now. This isn't a hoax. This isn't a false flag. This thing really happened. So moving on, another thing that I keep seeing that keeps getting brought up is the issue about Mark McConnell. You know, people said that David could have left when he left. These other people could have left when, you know, they were given the chance. And yeah, you know, they could have left, but it didn't stop 68 other people afterwards getting indicted with the same charge and getting sent to prison anyways. So if you're going to use that statement, know what you're talking about. David could not have left anytime sooner and not have been charged with this. He was going to be put into prison just like everyone else was going to be done to the same as well. But the problem that I see here is where's Mark McConnell? The one individual that was actually driving Eamon Bundy and, you know, driving the second vehicle in that convoy to the meeting and wherever county they were going to go speak to the sheriff and the people. Where's he at? I mean, if his involvement was just as much as everyone else that was there, just because, I mean, he was occupying federal land, he was driving a vehicle, he escorted them down. I mean, who is this guy and why is he not charged? I don't understand this. And I think there's some issues there that need to be brought up. And it all comes down to corruption, folks. This is what it is. It's all corruption. This is a big cover-up. People continue to turn a blind eye to the real issue here, and they keep trying to defend. I don't know what stance they're defending. Is it really shills that are running around and, you know, making these comments online? You know, there was a video, Mark D. the Truth, or whatever his name is, Matty D. the Truth, like previously possibly worked for the NSA. I don't know. You know, are these guys seriously shills? I couldn't imagine someone actually doing that as part of the job. It's the first time I ever heard of such thing since this occupation started. It's kind of something new to me, but these guys are definitely twisted in their mindset and don't have the capability or the capacity to think beyond, you know, the mainstream media is what they're portraying, and they're just in straight up denial is what it comes down to the fact that there was, you know, a firefight and it was invoked and incited upon from the federal government and the OSP. And I know this has been hit on so many times. You know, the ambush site. Why did they have to do it there? Why did why was there no cell phone reception? Like, could they not have gotten the same results and waited for Lavoy Finicum and his crew to arrive to whatever destination that they were going to, and peacefully arrested them all right there at that spot? You know, they could have had undercover police, undercover federal agents, or these supposedly mercenaries that are around. But no, they wanted it to go out the way that they wanted it to go at that place, because I think they truly wanted Lavoy Finicum dead, and that's what it comes down to. And it's unfortunate that it did go down that way, but that's what happened. Now, you know, I know I'm talking about a lot of different topics here, but this is just all coming at me at one time, and I want to get it out there. James D. Schuff and Gus, you make great points, and you know, David appreciates you guys going out there and spreading the word. I definitely agree upon that stamp idea. I think the you know, awareness thing is definitely something that should continue to be going on, and I think that if people can wake up and see, and this isn't about, overthrowing the government. No, this is not it. This is just bringing the awareness to, the corruption, the awareness to what has happened. We're all patriots here. We love America, and that is not our intent. In no way in shape or form should we allow anyone to twist our words to make it seem to be conveyed in any manner that is, that could be seen or portrayed as overthrowing the government. That's not what we're doing here. It's just bringing light upon the issues that people are having. And the stamp, like I said, was a great idea. I think there's definitely more work to be done on this. And I think, as long as we continue to press the issue, we continue to press for awareness to be seen, I think more people will become aware of what's happened. And Lavoy and the other patriots that went up there and for whatever cause they have, they didn't drown him out. They definitely didn't drown them out. If anything, they've opened the mouths of many more. If you took out them, you've just multiplied, their voice by 5-fold, 10-fold, however many, and it's going to continue to, expanding. So, right on with the ideas, but please be mindful of, the words and the words that you decide to use or choose. As you can see, it's putting a lot of people into some kind of trouble, and it's perceived in a certain manner. And violence is not the way of going about this. It's definitely going to shed a negative light upon the issue and any kind of cause that people are trying to pursue. So definitely keep it peaceful. Make it awareness. Make it an awareness. Stamps, I like it. Stencils on posters. Or stencils, you can make stencils on posters and chalk on the back of vehicles. But, I think everyone needs to be directed, and there needs to be a central website that all this information and people who are coming in and being awoken up to can actually, you can channel all these newly awakened individuals too, because, these websites of YouTube websites, all these videos are drowned out through all kinds of different, pro Lavoy, Lavoy haters and Bundy haters, and they're going to find negative information, and it's just going to make the cause as a little weaker than what's intended to be. So if you have a central website, I think that definitely would help out. So that's all I have to say tonight. It's not that much. A lot of it's been already talked about, and it's repetitive, but just another voice in the crowd. I'm here, definitely here to talk about it, here to bring it up. But actions definitely speak louder than words, and it really comes down to what have you done? Have you put up a sign today? Have you done anything? Have you spread the word to another person? You can talk about it as much as you want, but as long as if you haven't done anything, then really there's really no progress being made. And I think one thing that people need to be able to do is see what others have done. So, you can judge, your status of what you've done compared to another. If you can go to a website and people post pictures and photos of, what they've done to bring awareness, and people can get ideas and bounce ideas and find that motivation to follow others, to follow suit. So that's another thought that could be implemented. So, well, that's all I got to say. Good night, America, and I hope that we can wake another one or two and avoid, continue to avoid and disregard the trolls that are going around the internet, discrediting the movement and what has occurred up there in Oregon. So that's it.
Just like.
All right, yeah, don't worry, it's coming. It's coming with David Knight. Just I have a lot of stuff that goes on every day. Let's see, it's somewhere in my list. Yeah, I see it here. Yeah, it's in my list. It's down the list a bit. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. And I didn't expect to be like the dude doing the actual breaking news. Usually all these photo, video analysts catch all this stuff way before I do. That's really not my forte. But, I went and looked at that with Lavoy, and I was like, something looks really odd here. This just seems out of reality. So, I have my wife look at it. My wife's a professional seamstress. She's that's what she does for a living. And I'm like, and finally I'm like, just something doesn't look right here. So, and I said to my wife, even before we did the show, and I didn't tell her anything. And I didn't talk about the grain or the cloth or the color or anything. I just had her look at the pocket itself, and I'm like, what do you think about that pocket? And she was like, that doesn't even look right because it interferes with the button line. And I don't even know what a button line is. My wife's the seamstress, not me. That's what she does for a living. I got people bringing stuff to my door all day long. She's the last one in the county actually doing the kind of work she does, doing alterations and seamstress work and all that kind of stuff. That's what she does for a living. So, she's like, that pocket doesn't even look right. It doesn't even look like a usable flap. And she's like, it looks kind of too big for the area, and it interferes with the button line. Because she looked at this stuff like a seamstress would look at it, looking at the stitching that was already there and going, well, this just doesn't freaking add up. So anyway, Gavin Seen put this out today, and I thought this was hilarious. So here's our comedy show for the day. Gavin Seen tells us how to pull over a cop, and this is so funny. I just could not stop laughing.
This officer over, I want to make sure his unmarked car is legal.
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, sir. How are you? Good. Hey, the reason I stopped you today is because I saw this car was unmarked. Is this a registered unmarked vehicle for undercover work, or? Okay, you're not allowed to have patrol cars that are unmarked. Are you aware of that under Washington State RCW?
I'd have to look it up, but...
Yeah, you really should do that. So there's no market, there's no indication on this car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your name? Canfield?
Deputy Canfield.
Okay, Deputy Canfield. Can I see some ID?
Can you see some ID of
Yes.
me?
Yeah, I need to make sure that you're... No, you need to prove you're driving an unmarked vehicle, so I need to make sure you're actually a police officer and that you have the authority to be driving this vehicle, because you seem to be kind of doing something that's clearly in violation of Washington State law. So I just want to make sure you are who you say you are, okay?
Okay. Well,
okay.
Mr. Sun, I'm not gonna play the game with you.
This isn't a game. It's called law.
Okay.
Yeah. So can I see some ID and maybe license, registration, proof of insurance, sir?
No, I'm not going to show you that.
You're not going to identify yourself.
Yeah, I'm Deputy Canfield with the Sheriff's Office.
But how do I know that that uniform is real?
Okay. How do I know that you are who you say? You said you were who?
I didn't say who I was.
Okay. Well, I know who you are.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm trying to be fair about this. Here's the way the law works. I'm just going to educate you a little bit. Okay. The way the law works is that you as the officer are legally responsible. No, hold on. Let me finish and then I'll let you talk, okay? You, the officer, are legally responsible.
To back up out of my window.
No, I'm good. Can you show me some ID and prove that you are a police officer?
Yeah, this is my ID right here.
That's not ID, sir.
Yeah, well,
if I showed you a badge, if you stopped me, would you take that as ID? Come on, let's be reasonable. I just want to make sure. Do you have any? What's your badge number? Do you have? You are legally obligated to identify yourself.
Like I did, Deputy Canfield with the Sheriff's Office.
No, actually, as such, under your authority, also under Washington State law, you're required to identify yourself, not just your name, but to show identification.
I'm required by law to show you my what?
When you're involved in a stop, you are required to show that you are an officer, if requested.
A badge?
Anybody can have a patch, sir.
Okay, what about...
Is it a big deal for you to show me some ID just so I can make sure?
I can show it to you.
That'd be cool. That's all I want. I just like to make sure. Canfield GT51, can I see?
Yeah, you can see it. You're not going to hold it in your hand, though.
Okay, let me just get a close look at it there.
It's fine. Does that match this?
That looks legit to me. I appreciate it. I do. I really do.
Driver's license?
You got a driver's license too. I appreciate it.
I do.
I appreciate the cooperation. Are you stopping people in this vehicle?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, it's completely in violation of Washington state law, and you are culpable in that, the way the law is written.
Okay,
So you've admitted that you are in violation of Washington state law and that you are stopping people in this vehicle. So what I'm going to encourage you to do, I'm not going to write you up today. What I am going to encourage you to do is take this car back. I know you're smiling, but we the citizens do have a right to hold you guys accountable. If I'm in open violation of the law, I mean, I could call a sheriff out here and demand that you be written up for this, because you are in open violation of Washington state RCWs. Okay? So I just want you to talk to the sheriff about it. There's a problem with this in Soap Lake as well, and this is why I'm bringing this up lately. I really want you guys to be aware of this. I want you to follow along. Do you understand the safety concern? I mean, let's say it's 12 o'clock at night, my daughter's out driving around, and she doesn't drive yet, but you get the idea. And she gets stopped by what is supposedly a police officer, but there's no markings whatsoever, and that's one of the main reasons you should not be stopping people in a car that's unmarked, because that's when the safety concern really comes in. Somebody doesn't know if they're being stopped by a police officer. So understand that every time you stop somebody in this car, you are in violation of Washington state law, and you can't do that. So if we see you stopped in this car and have doing patrol stops in this car, we're going to have a problem because it's illegal. If you continue doing this, you could be arrested for that.
I could be arrested for driving an unmarked car?
For driving an illegal vehicle and refusing to comply?
Okay.
Are you saying that if somebody else was driving an illegal vehicle and wouldn't cooperate, that they wouldn't be arrested?
And how are you comparing? I mean, it's kind of apples to oranges.
It's not apples and oranges. You're driving a vehicle on Washington state roads, on a Washington state highway, and it's in violation of the law, and you're accountable to the law just the same as me and anybody else is, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's publicly owned, any publicly owned vehicle, including county, police, and it opens up with directing at the officer specifically. So, and that's the key for you. So you want to read this, because even if they give you an unmarked vehicle, you're legally obligated to not operate that unmarked vehicle, because the law is defined at the officer and says you, as the officer, shall not operate the vehicle on the public roadways, a publicly owned vehicle that's not legally marked.
That's good to know.
Just follow up on it, and let's just get it taken care of. It doesn't have to be a big deal, and I understand that there's certain instances, as is referenced in the law, where there is exemptions, but patrol vehicles are not included in that. So, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. You be safe out there, Mr. Canfield. Take care. And that is how you stop a police officer. He was driving by. I flagged him over. Some people may say, well, this is petty. Leave the officers alone, Gavin. It's not petty to hold our police accountable. And this isn't just one issue. This isn't just about police or sheriff. It's not one thing. It's accountability. It's the lawlessness we see all across America, where government disdains the people and disdains the law and thinks that they're above the law. We can't allow that. We, the people, are the sentinels of our liberty. The Constitution is a law that we placed on government. We, the people, must hold them accountable to the law. These guys are obligated to respect law and liberty and to follow the rules that we, the people, placed upon them.
Yeah, I love Gavin Stevens. He's freaking awesome. You know, I pulled a cop over once, and it was really funny. He wasn't really sure what the hell to do. You know, I had a feeling he was getting ready to pull me over, so I pulled him over instead. And it just completely messed up his day. This has been a long time ago, but you know, I could tell he was tracking me, getting ready to pull me over. I was actually doing some work in basically a bad neighborhood, and I could tell he was getting ready to pull me over. So what I did was I stopped and went in his parking lot, went around, and he pulled in behind me, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, basically, he didn't know what to do. It was kind of funny. Most of them won't. But anyway, so this next one is coming from William Mount. I know some people don't like William Mount, but you know, he's making some pretty good points in this next run. So here we go.
Folks, we'll be real quick on this. The New Republic was never intended For the last 12 to 14 weeks, I've been involved in the formation of this new republic. The republic that is supposed to replace the United States Corporation. What we've learned is there are at least 3 General Dunfords currently. There is no new republic base in Reno. It was a decoy, as is the General Dunford there. This is General Dunford. We're going to show you something and you'll be stunned. That is one General Dunford. I want you to notice the face, no scar. Another General Dunford. Downward eyelashes. And the General Dunford that's supposed to be in charge of the military. We'll get a better clip. Notice the 2 fobs in the background on the Department of Defense flag and on the American flag. That means it's English common law, English law. That means this is a corporation, this is a corporate flag, and this is a corporate flag. English Maritime Court. Sorry about that. There are at least 3 General Dunfords. The General Dunford that is currently in the White House was supposed to arrest Obama and Biden today and have Paul Ryan announce the new republic. Well, guess what? Surprise, 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 it didn't happen. The real Dunford is in the Pentagon. Like a Queen Anne, he's surrounded by hundreds of people. He has 5 handlers, and Dunford and his 2 clones, soon to be 3 clones. Now, the Dunford clones are all interconnected through brain implants, so when you talk to Dunford, he is the real Dunford. Boy, you're right. I absolutely have a hard time with typing. Cloning of many other generals is also going on. That's why 3,000 nukes are missing in the United States. They never this group under General Dunford never intended to recreate the Republic, but to quiet the masses with their lies. Folks at the top level know this was a ploy, a lie, a CIA con job. And now that the folks at the top, way above the commanding General Dunford, know what's going on, I've been told that heads will roll, and America will get kicked in the gut within a week or so. It'll make us all feel horrible. Judge Anna Reit's the one who says, we're a republic, yeah, stand behind the republic, ignore everybody. She's a CIA operative. You think she can't be a CIA operative? Here's a website.
Hi, this is Gina Hardin, and I'm here to share with you another great book I recently read called The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope by Sheriff Richard Mack. And I know I've been going over a lot of books here, and one reason is because Thomas Jefferson said, if a people expect to be ignorant and free, they expect what never was and what will never be. So we need to educate ourselves. We know that literacy is what leads us to liberty. And to be honest with you, I actually don't love reading, but recently, since I've just been hungering for liberty and to know more about the principles of liberty that our nation was founded on, I've just been hungering to read and to study these things. So anyway, in this book, it's amazing. Sheriff Mack talks about the power and authority that your local county sheriff has. And the way he came into prominence was back in 1997, or just before then, when the Brady Bill was introduced. It was actually a gun control measure, and then a law that was passed during the Clinton administration. And he was a sheriff at the time, and he sued the federal government and won. And what happened in the case is the Supreme Court said that it was an unconstitutional bill. And he said the states were not subject to the federal direction, that the federal regulatory agencies could not make laws that local sheriffs had to enforce for them. Justice Scalia said the federal government may not compel the states to enact or enforce a federal regulatory program. Now, how many federal regulatory programs can you think of? Let's think of some of the federal agencies and bureaucracies that have been created. We have the EPA, FCC, OSHA, Department of Education, FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, INS, ATF, HUD, SEC, Federal Reserve, DEA, Forest Service, BLM, IRS. How many more can they think of? And the Supreme Court was clear and said that the states were not subject to federal direction, that the federal government may not compel the states to enact or enforce a federal regulatory program. And so James Madison, one of our founding fathers, the fourth president, he said that state legislatures, it is their duty to erect barriers against encroachments of national authority. And so when the federal government begins to encroach on state sovereignty, it's up to state legislators, it's up to county and city officials to resist those. See, tyranny can't exist unless we go along with it. Part of the definition of tyranny is something that's not resisted, unresisted authority. And so it's up to our legislatures to nullify these regulations and say, no, we will not comply with us. But we can't expect our legislators to do that unless we, the people, stand up in one loud voice, and not just to be the loudest voice in the room, but with numbers. That it takes, a crowd of people to stand up and to petition our government and to say, we want you to stand against these federal encroachments and overreach and abuse of our liberties. So Sheriff Mack, he tells us about how he got started in law enforcement, and he didn't really know maybe too much about the Constitution at that time, but every law enforcement officer is required to take an oath to the Constitution to uphold the Constitution. Their oath actually is to the people. You see, he was elected by the people. He wasn't hired, nor could he be fired by the federal government. And so he took an oath to the people to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But what he quickly realized as he wrote tickets and basically did the numbers that were required of him, that he was just a revenue generator, and that he discovered that police departments were just there to collect revenues, to get more police toys, and to justify their existence. That it was really taxation through citation, he says. And so, I've noticed that I use this word tyranny. I've used it in several of my videos. And sometimes you can think, wow, that's kind of, is that too much? Is that just hyperbole to say that we're living in tyranny? But what is the definition of tyranny? Let's talk about that, because part of literacy is really understanding our terms. And things like Twitter and other things, as great and useful as they can be, have dumbed us down. So I don't want the video to get too long, so next time we're gonna continue to discuss what's in this book, and we'll talk about the definition of tyranny. So please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to join me next time right here where liberty grows. Hi, this is Gina Hardin with Liberty Grows, and welcome to part 2 of the book, The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And in part 1 we were talking about that the law enforcement officers, and not just law enforcement, but our military elected officials, even the FBI, many people take an oath to protect and preserve and defend the Constitution of the United States. And that oath is first and foremost to the Constitution. It's not to just obey orders, as many of the defendants at Nuremberg can tell you. To say I was just following orders is not a good defense. An officer's primary duty and responsibility is to the Constitution. It's to protect the people. And even if that means going against legislators. So an officer or a sheriff cannot violate their oath to the Constitution for a judge or the legislature. You know, one of the brilliant things about how America was founded in our form of government is we have this dual form of government between having a state government and a federal government. And they intentionally, our founders, put these checks and balances in place. And so the states aren't just supposed to go along with the feds. There's supposed to be this healthy tension that they check each other from abusing their authority and power. And the sheriff's job is to protect people from abuses and crimes of the federal government, not to do their bidding for them. So the size of government is directly proportional to the amount of liberty we have. As government grows, our liberty shrinks. As government shrinks, our liberty grows. But there's another important thing you have to understand, that self-government is directly proportional to the amount of external and civil government that we have. So when Americans are a moral and virtuous people and are self-governing, then we don't need a heavy-handed federal government to make these regulations because we're already doing it. There's no need for all these extra laws. But as we begin to lose our self-government and become immoral and unlawful people and abuse the liberty that we've been given, well then it takes more civil and federal government to keep lawless people in check. So we were talking, last time I said we were going to talk about what the definition of tyranny is. And let's see, I actually made notes. As I was reading this book, I was underlining and even wrote the definition of tyranny in here. And what it is, tyranny is arbitrary or despotic exercise of power. Okay, what is arbitrary? Arbitrary means depending on the will or discretion, not governed by any fixed rules. Arbitrary power is most easily established on the ruins of liberty abused to licentiousness. So why do we have this arbitrary power going on? Because we've abused our liberty to licentiousness. Now, honestly, I had to go and look this word up. What is licentiousness exactly? We might have a general idea, but we can learn a lot more about it when we go to the 1828 Webster's Dictionary. Licentiousness is excessive indulgence of liberty. So in other words, it's not responsible liberty. It's not moral liberty. It's not liberty and virtue. It's a lawless kind of liberty. And that's not the kind of people that we want to be. Licentiousness is contempt of the just restraints of law, morality, and decorum. Contempt of the just restraints of law, morality, and decorum. Tyranny, arbitrary or despotic exercise of power over subjects and others with a rigor not authorized by law or justice or not requisite for the purposes of government. Hence, tyranny is often synonymous with cruelty and oppression. Again, cruelty means it's not just to be mean, but it means disposed to give pain to others, destitute of pity. Tyranny is unresisted and cruel power. So again, you can't have tyranny where the people resist. But tyranny comes about because the people do not resist. In fact, the Bible says, resist the devil and he must flee. And so we have a moral duty to resist tyrannical government. You know, the name of this channel is Liberty Grows. And I don't want to just give you the bad news. I want to tell you, how we're making progress. And Sheriff Mack talks about in his book, in 1997, the sheriff of Nye County, Nevada, told the feds that they would be arrested if they tried to confiscate a rancher's cattle. So here we see a constitutional sheriff defending and protecting his people from the abusive power of the federal government. A Wyoming sheriff created a policy that all federal agents had to check with them before they could make arrests, serve papers, or confiscate property, after the INS erroneously raided the home of U.S. citizens. For federal officers to take over a county is the epitome of usurpation, and no constitutional sheriff should tolerate it. Our founders intended for there to be constitutional safeguards at each level of government, at the state level. That's why we have, even the judicial, executive, and legislative. And the sheriffs are part of the executive branch of government. Nothing supersedes the Bill of Rights. Its violation is treason. So again, like I said, let me leave you with this. Thomas Jefferson said, "If a people expect to be ignorant and free, they expect what never was and what will never be." If you like this video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to join me next time, right here.
Multi-Mack can, an AK-40 and 10 30-round AR-15 mags. Water resistant. Visit AMTV, Alternative Media Television. It's Monday, March 7th, 2016. And with a heavy heart, I say the elections are rigged. Donald Trump doesn't win. Hillary does. Again, I say that with a heavy heart, but there's times in my media career where I just basically go off intuition and kind of feel things happening. Felt this around the 2008-2009 financial crisis, warned family and friends to get out of the market, could see the wheels coming off, the bloodbath that was going to ensue, which inevitably did, with the collapse of Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, and then the greatest orchestrated, pre-planned, engineered bailouts in the history of the world, which really had one intention: to steal from you, to rob you, and transfer the greatest sum of wealth in the history of the world, all which was very successful. In fact, we watched Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders debate this last night in Flint, Michigan, which is just pretty much a circus. You see, Donald Trump, and I talked about this in our exclusive private on-demand video. Many of you subscribed last week. Thank you very much for supporting our platform. Donald Trump is a real threat to the establishment, not just the GOP, but the establishment. And I think what's happening is we see, and I've talked about this again extensively, we see how the media establishment is against him.
And if I were close enough and I had a knife, really, wait, what? The stabbing just wouldn't stop.
And we see how Washington, politicians are against him. We see how his own party, people like Mitt Romney, are against him. We see how the religious establishment, people like the Pope, are against him. But it's all about this cathartic experience. I think this is what the New World Order elites have orchestrated for a reason, to give the American people that cathartic experience, that Freudian release, because people are angry. They're looking for something different. They're looking for that anti-establishment character to be the next president of the United States. Same thing with Bernie Sanders. And it's exactly why they won't win, because it's all pre-planned. It's all engineered. It's been orchestrated from the beginning. Hillary Clinton's the next president of the United States in 2016. I'm not saying that to be defeatist. I'm not saying not to vote for Trump. In fact, that's why there should be even more support behind Trump, why you should get on board. You should vote for Donald Trump, that we should try to stop this inevitability. But we have to come to terms with the fact that the whole system, the two-party paradigm, is an illusion. The whole system is a joke. It's been pre-planned and orchestrated from the beginning to serve this New World Order agenda. And Hillary Rodham Clinton is the main entree in 2016. She talked a lot about, last night they were talking about the Flint water crisis and how this was just a horrible thing to happen to the children, etc., which it is. And I'm not saying that there's not huge gravity to that situation. It's one of the reasons why we're a big proponent of water filtration systems. We sell them at our store, amtvmedia.com. I encourage you to buy one. I own several of them. It's a big deal. But it was interesting to see Hillary Rodham Clinton talk about the fact that she would prosecute those involved, that she would hold them to the law. She even talked about potentially firing the head of the EPA. Same with Bernie Sanders, although I think he actually has good intentions behind it.
Well, I'll start by saying amen to that. We are here in Flint. I'm very grateful that my request that we hold this debate be held here so we can continue to shine a very bright spotlight on what has happened in this city. I agree. The governor should resign or be recalled, and we should support the efforts of citizens attempting to achieve that.
And her rhetoric was just so firm, how she's going to prosecute whoever's responsible for hurting the innocent children. Yet at the same time, nobody's prosecuting her for her crimes, for Benghazi Gate, for the deaths of Christopher Stevens, several other Americans, these bold-faced lies, the illegal targeting of conservative groups, blowing up her email server with classified information, thousands and thousands of emails passing through her hands. Why isn't anyone prosecuting her? Why isn't anybody getting angry about her? Now, people like Donald Trump are. It's why he is a real threat. And we're going through this cathartic experience in America right now. We're reading all these reports. In fact, the head of Drudge is talking about how basically Donald Trump is ruffling the feathers of the New World Order, which he is. This is all happening. This is all real. He's a real threat to the establishment. So all these people and all these forces, the establishment itself, media, religion, etc., is all working against him. But it's why he won't be the next president of the United States. I actually personally think he gets the nod. He gets the nomination. It's going to be a complete media circus. I'm looking forward to the debates. I think he's going to full-blown attack Hillary Clinton. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when we get our vote, he'll conveniently lose. This is important to recognize, folks. You don't have a voice. There is no system in America today. It is absolutely, entirely, and in its totality corrupt. That's the system that we have today. That was shown to us right in front of our faces during the 2008-2009 financial crisis through the orchestrated bailouts. Notice how it worked for the elites. It worked for all those with the deep pockets, things that Bernie Sanders talks about. They orchestrated the events in the first place to transfer the money from you, to destroy, to absolutely eradicate the middle class. Yet they'll talk about these things like they're talking points at the Democratic debate last night, for example. The whole thing's rigged. There is no system. Donald Trump is a real threat, but if he was a real threat in actually winning, he wouldn't get that far. They wouldn't allow it. There's a reason why I say I pray for Donald Trump. I pray for him and his family because he is a real threat. But the establishment is letting the American people again kind of experience this cathartic moment, this Freudian experience, to kind of get all of our anger out, etc., think that they actually have momentum, that they're actually going to change something for the better. And again, I know this sounds defeatist, but it's my honest to God opinion. But he won't win. They're going to take him out one way or another at that last round, the final round, the knockout punch. This is my humble opinion, and I'm not happy about it. I hope I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I honest to God hope that I'm wrong, but I do not see Donald Trump as the next president of the United States. He's out. The establishment already has the table tilted in its favor. Everything is working against him. World leaders, those that make up the New World Order paradigm, do not want Donald Trump as the president of the United States because they can't work with him. Again, Donald Trump is for real. And it's why he's not going to be the next president of the United States. There is no working, legitimate system here in the United States. The only way Donald Trump would win is with a legitimate, true-to-life, real coup d'etat. That's the only way Donald Trump will win, is with a coup, a revolution here in the United States of America. And there's a lot of angry people out there. I meet them all the time. I meet a lot of people, they have no idea what I do, and they are just fuming with anger. Ripping Hillary Clinton a new asshole, talking about how the country's going into the toilet. Guys that I know that fought overseas in places like Iraq and Afghanistan say that it can all happen here in the United States of America, that Americans are blind to what's going on around them. And again, they don't even know what I do. And I'll just listen to them and listen to the anger in their hearts, their minds, their souls. This country is deteriorating. It is fragmented. It has been destroyed. It has been hijacked by this Obama Manchurian candidate that has made up this New World Order agenda. There's a reason why they placed Barack Obama as the president of the United States for 2 terms. There's a reason Mitt Romney lost. And of course, Mitt Romney, a part of the establishment. There's a reason we're having this cathartic moment now, to give the illusion that the people actually have any hope, that they're actually going to influence politics. Again, the only way Donald Trump becomes president of the United States is with a legitimate revolution in this country. A literal coup. Not a figment of our imagination, because Donald Trump will roil Not just politics here, domestically at home, but globally. This is very serious business again. And this isn't to sound defeatist. This is not to say, okay, we quit or anything like that. No, this should rally more support behind Donald Trump than ever before because he is real. He is legitimate. He is not the establishment. The entire establishment, as I talked about in our on-demand video, is working against him. Whether or not it's Washington politics, it's big billionaire corporate media, it is the religious establishment, or it's even his own party. People like Mitt Romney. I mean, why wouldn't Mitt Romney get behind him? Why wouldn't the GOP party get behind him after the people have spoken? After he's won 6 or 7 odd states? The only place he's faltered was in Iowa. There's a majority rule here. The people have spoken. Again, they've spoken for Donald Trump to lead them. But the establishment is not going, in my humble opinion, to allow this to carry out. Again, it's going to be a media circus. We're going to get this friggin' close. It might even be like a repeat of Bush Gore. We're going to get this friggin' close to give you the impression that you actually had a chance. Even though the real elites behind closed doors in the smoking rooms have already predetermined the outcome. They already know who wins. And if Hillary is healthy enough to continue, and again, believe me, she's got health problems.
Lift our sights, to set big goals, to make it clear that America's best days can be and are ahead of us.
I want to thank both the candidates while we've been debating tonight.
Just look how fat her face is. She's on obvious medication. She's got this like smoker's voice now. She's like, hi, my name's Hillary Clinton, and I'll go after the EPA. If she can make it with her health to November, she wins. Guaranteed. Already been decided. This is important. This has a lot of gravity, right? I mean, share this far and wide. Folks, you need to understand there is no system in America anymore. The people, there is no majority rule. There is no election. It's a selection. The country has been hijacked. It was hijacked with Barack Obama, and it's the same reason Hillary is the next president of the United States. A part of this, again, socialist agenda. This Manchurian candidate agenda. You know, it's funny. You ask around you, I don't even know anyone that's pro-Hillary. Like, seriously, I don't know anyone here in the Valley of the Sun. Maybe it's just because we're a conservative state. You know, I'll see an occasional maybe bumper sticker on the road, but like occasionally something that's pro-Hillary. No one I talk to likes this bitch. Okay? I have a feeling that's pretty much the case throughout the country. But again, it's already been predetermined. It's a pre-selection of who wins. It's like WWE. Like they know who's going to win the fight, right? There's going to be a lot of fanfare. It's going to be a media circus. It's going to be a lot of it very fantastical. Donald Trump is going to attack Hillary Clinton. The debates are going to be like unlike anything we've ever seen. And it's going to get to a gnat's ass in November, give you the impression that Donald Trump had a chance, but then he's going to lose. Am I happy about it? I hope that I'm wrong, but instinctually, what I see just in my gut, and from time to time, I'll get these feelings, I'll have these instincts around the news cycle, what's happening politically, economically, etc. The elections are rigged. Trump loses. Hillary Rodham Clinton wins in 2016. Get this video out everywhere. Make it viral. Hard-hitting and in your face. I'm Christopher Green, and click the link below to support our sponsor.
What's up, America? What's up, Patriots? What's up, YouTube? So this vid, what I'm going to touch on is facts versus opinion regarding the whole traffic stop. It was not a traffic stop. It was a set-up ambush, plain and simple. They had a roadblock a mile down the road. They had multiple vehicles involved in this. A traffic stop is something totally different. If anybody's smart enough to figure that out, you know, come on. I mean, you guys that are awake know this. But this goes out to all you Matty D's of the world and Dave Actons and Team Keep 'em Asleeps and all you other shill-ass channels that are real shills, that are real, probably government agents, I don't know. You know, I'm not going to state that as fact, but my personal opinion is if you're helping them, if you're helping push a Fed agenda, then you're probably a Fed agent. So, and this is going to be the last time I'm even going to debate this thing, because that's not me debating these facts and opinions are not my narrative. So I'm just doing this for my viewers to know fact versus opinion and why I am doing what I'm doing regarding Oregon. But the narrative is taking back our freedoms. Plain and simple, period, all the time, every day, every waking minute, second of my life. That's my narrative. So, traffic stop. Fact. They were stopped by multiple OSP and federal agents. Fact. Ryan Payne was in the vehicle with Lavoy Finicum. He was in the front seat. He was in the front seat, front passenger seat. Ryan Bundy was in the back seat. Shauna Cox was in the back seat. And Victoria Sharp was in the back seat. That's it. Nobody else was in the vehicle, but they all were in the vehicle. Another fact. Ryan Payne. This is fact based on the video evidence. Video evidence. FBI's own video evidence, you know. Another fact, Ryan Payne stuck his head out the window trying to contact or trying to communicate. At that time, they shot and hit. If he did not duck, he would have got shot in the face probably. If he did not duck back in the vehicle after that shot was fired, that shot hit the side mirror, the passenger side mirror, rearview mirror. Fact. Ryan Payne at that time decides to get out of the vehicle to try to de-escalate the situation. They immediately detain him, cuff him, and walk him away. Fact. I've seen this on video. I have the video. I will put a whole series or analysis together when I figure out how to do it the right way, where everyone can see it the right way. But just listen to me here and stop listening to these other fucking people out there that are just going way off topic, and you know they don't have no worthy cause. They don't have no worthy agenda. They're looking for divide and division. They're working either they're agents, or they're just stupid, or they just want views and they want a Jerry Springer show, whatever their case is. Just forget all those guys. You guys want real truth? Come to my channel. Come to Rich Guz's channel. Come to Veritas Fox 13. You know, come to Real Patriot channels. We're all veterans. Well, most of us are all veterans, but we're all patriots. Whether we're veterans or not, we're all patriots. You know, I know I'm a veteran. I know Rich is a veteran. I know Veritas Fox 13 is a veteran. I'm not sure if Sean is a veteran, Chef 1111 is a veteran or not. We do talk on the phone. I consider us friends. We communicate, but even if he's not, he's a true patriot. You don't have to be a veteran to be a patriot. So back to the facts. So fact is, after Ryan Payne gets detained, cuffed, led away. Lavoy, you can see this clearly in the video. Lavoy is talking amongst the passengers, asking do they want to get out or not. None of them want to get out. They had no reason to get out. They had no reason to be stopped in the first place. They were headed. They had an agenda. They were headed to talk to other American patriot citizens or Americans to open their eyes to the facts of the Constitution. And that's fact. So they decide not to stop. They decide not to get out of the vehicles. They decide not to stay stopped. And he decides to okay, I'm going to go. He's just going to go and try to make it to the sheriff. That's the only protection they had at that point in time, was the constitutional sheriff. Because these feds were not constitutional. These feds were not law-abiding American citizens. So, fact, he tried to get to the sheriff. He did not know there was a roadblock up in front of him. He was going fast. He wanted to get to that sheriff as soon as possible. They're firing. As soon as he took off, you can hear bullets hit the vehicle. To all you shills out there, and everyone else that listens to them, listen to this. When he took off, said, I'm just gonna take off now. Right away, you hear shots. Boom, boom, boom. You hear him hitting the vehicle and pinging. Okay? So you know they shot at him as he was taking off. That gives him even more of a reason to get the fuck out of town, out of Dodge, and get to the constitutional sheriff that will protect him. So, as soon as he sees a roadblock up ahead, he's going so fast, I'm not there in his mind, but I see it clearly what happened. He's going so fast, he either swerves to the side or he rams the roadblock. Either way, he's justified. Even if he ran them fuckers over, he's justified. But he didn't want to do that. He tried to swerve out of the way, hit the snowbank. Hopefully, maybe he thought maybe he can get around. And he wasn't trying to hit that Fed. That Fed jumped in front of him, tried to fire some shots, and he did fire some shots. Because as soon as they get to the roadblock and they're like maybe 20 yards away, you hear ping ping, you hear the shots again. Now, I've been in firefights, okay? I've had people shot right next to me, okay? So I know what this shit sounds like. For all you people out there that don't know what this stuff sounds like, don't believe the movie hype, the whole movie scenarios, and all that loud, all that hoorah Hollywood stuff. When the real deal is happening, it's very subtle. You can hear it, but it's kind of subtle. It's way more subtle than the movies, believe me. So he stops and hits the roadblock. That's a fact. Facts are facts. He was there. The roadblock was there. Facts. He gets out. Bing, another shot right away. You can see it blast through the window. And I'm not going to state this as fact because this is my opinion. In my opinion, that was a sniper shot from the trees, from higher ground, from a higher vantage point. People that were posted out of sight from the drone cameras. You couldn't see these people. They were all in tactical gear, fatigues, whatnot. You couldn't see these people until at the end when they all came, surrounded his body, and were trying to mop up. You never saw these people. All you saw was the OSP officers and the federal officers in the jeans and in their dark suits, and you didn't see all the tactical gear guys in the very beginning when Lavoy ran into the snowbank. So Lavoy gets out, hands up, walking through deep snow. He might have slipped. However, he reached down, whatever. It doesn't matter. They unlawfully stopped this man. They already unlawfully were firing upon this man. If he did have a gun on him, he was within his rights to pull that gun out and start shooting every single one of them if he could have, to protect him and defend himself and the people he was with. But that's not what he was doing. He was trying to maintain his footing, walking with his hands up, getting shot at the same time, and shot at the same time. I'm not sure why he was grabbing if he was shot. It doesn't really matter. Okay? It doesn't really matter. But the fact is, facts are facts. Whether he was shot 3 times or 9 times, he was shot and killed and murdered by these people. Okay? Now I'll go into my opinions. These are not facts. My opinions. But I believe they're facts. In my heart, they're facts. But these are my opinions. I believe that there were private contractors, and those were the guys you saw in tactical gear, that were working in conjunction with the feds. I know what sniper rifles sound like. Those shots sounded to me like sniper rifles. Okay? Somebody sent me a clear sound analysis video I'm going to put up. But after Lavoy is down, after he gets tased, and I believe that it's a fact that man came out and tased him after he was already been shot maybe a couple of times, maybe 3 times, however, it doesn't really matter. But I believe and you can clearly see in the video the holstered weapon on his side, his left arm out like this with a big taser gun, but you can clearly see his sidearm on his hip. Okay? He tased Lavoy. Lavoy fell from that tase. You can see how he jerked, like his hands. When you get tased, that's what happens. You freeze up and fall just like that, just how Lavoy fell. Okay? Believe me, I've been tased. I've been in, I know. So, that to me is a fact, that he was tased. Everyone can take that as opinion if you want. So, after the fact, all these, at the end of the video that the FBI put out, and trust me, they only put this video out to spin the narrative and to get people confused as to what really happened and whatnot, because it's not clear. And even with the spliced Shauna Cox video, it's not clear cut. It's clear cut enough, though, for everyone to realize more and more what happened. But after everyone came out of the woodworks at the end of the video, do you notice all these guys in tactical gear? All these guys are coming. How come you don't see them in the beginning of the video? How did a bullet hole, and that to me is a sniper shot, how did it get on top of the vehicle, on the rooftop of the vehicle? from the guys on the ground, from the OSP officers and federal agents on the ground. Because none of them were standing on top of their vehicles shooting at them. How did that bullet hole come at that angle and hit the top of the roof? How are all those lasers coming in at angles kind of like from vantage points? There were snipers out there, guys. There were snipers out in the woods, in the trees. They had them in their sights with their lasers. And that's exactly what was going on, bro. So I'm going to leave it at that. You know, you guys can take that for what it's worth. And I'm just done debating it. This goes to you, Alan D., you little snake in the grass guy. You know, making all your weird comments. I don't know. Get a life, bro. If my viewers are having problems with you, Alan D., I'm going to ask them to let me know. And if they're having problems with you and your little creepy little troll ass, then I'm going to block you. Because I haven't blocked you, because I do believe in freedom of speech. And I believe in everyone having the right to their own opinions and speaking their minds. But when it comes to being insulting and attacking people, I'm going to start blocking your fucking asses. Peace out, everybody. Let's take our freedoms back.
If you're a firearms holder right now, if you're a concealed carry holder in this day and age, you've got to make a choice before shooting starts occurring. What kind of person am I? Am I the person who runs towards gunfire, or am I the person who runs away from it? And these active shooting situations that we see throughout the country, they are situations where people are violently being attacked and there is no end in sight until somebody intervenes, whether that's law enforcement or not. But in my opinion, a good concealed carry holder or a good armed responsible citizen intervening in that is every bit as good as law enforcement if they intervene in an appropriate, trained manner. And they better do it at that appropriately trained level and with the appropriate equipment. You and I are both wearing this bob. These bobs, they're rip open, high availability of large caliber pistol rounds with a lot of ammo behind them and ballistic plates behind them and everything like that. It's as much as I can bring to this gunfight without carrying a small AR-15 on my back, which I'm not a proponent of. It's just that's too much. You know, we have to find our happy medium, the Goldilocks, the how much is too much, how much is too little, and how much is just right. And this is where I've landed. I used to carry a bag like this, which is just your average Maxpedition or other type of bag. And the thing that I really liked it's got a lot of room. I even carried a hat in it and my wallet and handcuffs and all sorts of different cool things. The only problem is even if this bag was black, it kind of is one of those tactical bags that basically points at me and puts a neon sign, you know, and says there's got a gun in here, you know. And so I can rip this open and reach in and engage with a weapon system. But before that, I'm pretty easily identifiable, whereas yours is a little more nondescript, and you're a little bit more ready to use that surprise.
Sure.
This, not so much nondescript. This,
there's no solving that.
Yeah,
there's
nothing you can do about it, you know.
So you've made the distinction a couple times about training and having your response be at the appropriate level, assuming that you have that training. So how important is that as a deciding factor about whether or not you get involved in an active shooter situation or another violent situation where you're not the victim and so you're intervening on someone else's behalf? How important is it to you, as both a police officer and a civilian, how important is it to you that that person who's intervening has the appropriate level of training as opposed to just being a well-intentioned amateur?
It is everything. You know, we've seen recent shootings in our valley where a concealed carry holder attempted to intervene in a violent situation and was killed immediately by a second adversary. And that person, I mean, God bless him, what a hero, but it's a really tragic end to this whole thing. You've got to have an appropriate level of training. And in this day and age, nobody should be carrying a firearm unless you not only take your concealed carry course and everything like that, but really seek out good tactical training that makes you overall aware of a lot more than just the laws of the applicable state where you're at. You really need to be aware of how to use your firearm, how to present your firearm, how to carry your firearm, how to hide your firearm, and how to engage one to multiple threats with your firearm if you're going to be that type of person. And you really need to be able to articulate on the end of that why you do it, and understand that law enforcement's response does not include you in their thought processes oftentimes as a concealed carry holder. So you better have a plan to deal with law enforcement when they show up, and identify yourself so that you don't end up hurt in the end of it.
It's an important point to make, because when law enforcement finally is on the scene, and you can speak to this with much greater experience than I can, but you don't want one more pebble on the road. You don't want another person who's a hindrance to the situation. So
Right.
I imagine as a civilian, the important thing to consider is I want to help. I don't want to hinder the end goal here, which is stopping this person from killing more people. So there's a fine line, I would imagine, between those two things.
It's like getting tagged out in the WWF, you know what I mean? As
Yeah.
soon as that law enforcement person arrives, you
Yeah.
have to be readily identifiable, and as soon as you're tagged out and you tag your buddy, they're it. You're out,
Sure.
you know what I mean? You don't continue to engage, and you identify yourself. If a law enforcement officer is responding, they're responding to a very critical, highly confusing incident with very limited information, and you might be immediately identified by them as a potential shooter. So you have to go into these situations knowing that, and understanding that if you hear police drop the gun, you don't try and explain to them that you're the good guy. You drop the gun, you let them go on about their business. They might cuff you and stuff you and throw you on the ground. Just take it with some maturity and respect for what they're doing, and have a plan. But that's part of the training thing, you know what I mean? You don't want to be the guy who's trying to argue with them that you're the good guy. You're kind of going to be amped up in this situation as well.
Some updates here to the Oregon standoff situation, and some interesting comments made by the FBI, by agents, referring to Pete Santilli as a shill, and going on accusing him of a slew of other things here that were not connected directly with Oregon. A lot of this stuff is coming from what they're trying to cite has to do with the Bundy Ranch, where they're saying that he was a lead player. Now, with the whole Oregon situation, a judge had said that he could be released to a halfway house if he had a mental evaluation. But the prosecutors and everyone else that's trying to pin him down for the Bundy Ranch stuff says, hold on, no. We want you to hold him because we're hitting him with all these other charges in relation to Bundy Ranch. So what started as a conspiracy charge in Oregon that blanketed all these other individuals and gave them a reason to go after them has given them time to pull up all these charges for the Bundy Ranch thing, and when they're hoping to try to start to indict these individuals on that before they can be released. However, they have released one individual connected with this, and they say that Santilli was rallying people to come down to these places. He was organizing gunmen. Okay, this is the stuff they're saying. He was organizing gunmen, but then they go and they talk about all of his actions while he was down there, that he hopped in a car and blocked officers from getting in. And although he did move his car, it took him some time, and he obviously did it on purpose, and it allowed dozens and dozens of protesters and other people to move down and make their way in advance in front of the BLM agents. And also they're saying that he had a weapon, was brandishing a weapon down there, all these other things, was giving orders, and he was part of the nucleus of the whole thing that went down there, acting as the mouthpiece for the Bundy Ranch, the propagandists. And this is where they go on referring to him as a shill. This man, Eric Lee Flores, was said to have been released because they said that, well, they didn't say specifically what the conditions are. And it's probably that he can't be around other people. But I'd like to know, because I want to know if he hasn't been charged with anything, what they're trying to say he can and cannot do. They're saying that they picked him up because he was seen at the occupation, but he was not a leader. He was photographed armed at the refuge and seen on guard duty. So for that reason alone, they got him, but they have released him, but they're not specifying on what conditions. Now, Cliven Bundy also refused to enter a plea, so they had entered a not guilty plea for him. And there's more yet to come this next week in regards to all this. They had stated by this next week in March, and I'd said this last week, actually at the end of last month, that they were going to be making moves. Now, they had said that there was people involved when they released all these names, and there was one where the name was blacked out, which means that they had not yet arrested that person, and there's still somebody out there that they're trying to get. And they don't want the cat out of the bag to let that person know. And that's just with that one set of indictments. They're coming with another list and another with all these other charges. And as of right now, they're trying to keep as many of them that were at the heart of it, so to speak, in there so they can start nailing them with the charges from Nevada. So even if some of these guys do get out, like say, for instance, Santilli, and makes it to a halfway house, he's going to have to go right back and face the indictment with all this other stuff. And, you know, you have to pay attention to what they're trying to do here against freedom of speech in this whole thing here. As I said before, it would seem to me like they would go after the guys that had guns down there that were pointed at officers. Now, like I said, there's other people out there they're still looking for, apparently. And that's where it's all sitting at this point, but I just wanted to go over some of these updates. We're going to continue to talk about this tonight over on End of the Stars channel for Real Talk Live, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can also catch it on undergroundworldnews.com/live feeds. We're going to be talking about a lot of different topics, updates, and we're going to be joined by Kart Racer as well. And also keep an eye out for an important music video that I'm going to be dropping over on Dabu77 today that is designed to get this message out there and help awaken people. So I'll leave links in the description box. And until next time, this has been Dabu7. Much love, y'all.
Alright, YouTube just posted up a video of Lavoy Finicum shooting inside the vehicle, live audio and everything going in there. Be honest, pretty disturbing, but go ahead, check it out, shoot it a like at the page. Thanks.
Photos that I don't think the mass majority of anyone's seen. And a lot of these photos are actually from inside the refuge while it was being occupied. Now, let me go ahead and say this now. The person I got these photos from, they're on Facebook, and all these photos are public, and they are not arrested, and they are a 3%er. Not only are they a 3%er, I think they are a 3%er security force person. The reason I say that is because they wear the Punisher skull. Now, it could be that 3%ers just like the Punisher skull, and so you don't have to be part of the security force. But he really likes it. He has it tattooed on his hand. And anyone else I've seen wear or have a tattoo of the Punisher skull. When I say Punisher skull, it's from a comic book called The Punisher. It's one of more of the violent comic books that came out, I think, in the 80s. And basically the mantra of the Punisher, who is basically like an assassin, is he's willing to kill like 100 innocent people as long as he gets the target or the bad guy he's looking for. So he'll shoot up a place or bomb it or whatever. So anyways, you're going to see this guy in the refuge with Eamon Bundy. You're going to see this guy in the refuge with Captain O and a bunch of other people. Alright? But before we get to that guy, let me show you Mark McConnell's pictures at the refuge. I don't know if you've seen Mark McConnell's pictures at the refuge. Another guy who is a 3%er of Arizona and didn't get arrested, was Eamon Bundy's driver. Let's go. And let me warn you, these pictures are with Lavoy Finicum and Mark McConnell, and Mark McConnell and Eamon Bundy. Here you go. This first one will be of Lavoy Finicum. There you go, look, Mark McConnell and Lavoy Finicum at the refuge. For all we know, this could have been the day he died. No idea. Now let's see here. Here we go. Here's Eamon Bundy and Mark McConnell. Was this the day that Lavoy died? Was this the day of the ambush? Was this earlier on, you know, during the occupation when it first started? Or was this the second time Mark McConnell went up to the refuge, right before the ambush? Don't know. I know that these pictures were from his Facebook, though. Publicly available. Advertises them to the public. And here's just a picture of him. And it says Harney County. So there you go. That's Mark McConnell. I doubt you've seen these pictures. So, now back. Let's go to this guy named Vance. I don't remember if his last name is Vance or his first name. But he is he's the guy that went to the refuge as well. 3%er. Let's go ahead and see here.
All right, I'm going to pause this just for a second. I got somebody in the chat room that says something, and I kind of want to address that. And I really suck at typing, and this system I ran is more set up for video than sitting here and typing stuff. So because the keyboard sucks, and it's in a keyboard drawer, but I don't care what Pete Santilli did, has done, or whatever, or what whatever grievance anybody has with Pete Santilli. I really don't care, because right now he's in a group of a whole bunch of people right now. They're all sitting in solitary confinement. Guantanamo style, quite honestly, if you really look at it, and being held as some kind of terrorist. So, quite honestly, it doesn't matter, really, can any of you, if you look at the history of your entire life, just say, oh, well, I never did anything. I never did anything bad ever. I was born and I was an angel the whole goddamn time. Everybody's well aware I'm not a big fan of Pete Santilli's style. I think a lot of what happened down there was, kind of his own doing. But or his own undoing, but whatever. That doesn't even matter. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people sitting in prison right now in solitary confinement, nonetheless, nonetheless, and so that's the point right now. It's not any one individual, it's all the individuals that are being punished as political prisoners, because that's the only way I can label them at this point, because of the way they are being held, where they're being held, and how they are being held. And they are going to be, according to the judge, kept right the hell there in their solitary confinement until this is all over. Could take years. Now, I want you to go lock yourself in a goddamn closet for a whole day. Go get in the closet and just sit there for a whole day. And tell me how you feel. Now, go do that every day, day after day after day after day. You think these people are not going to come out of there a little bit touched in the head? I'm pretty sure they will be.
Okay. Now this actually mentions Sergeant Moe, right? This is from within the refuge. There's Eamon. There's this Vance guy. And you can see some more pictures here. Let's go to the next one. This one's hard to see. Here you go. This is at the refuge.
Yeah, exactly in the chat. It's going to take years. And the big point is that we do not let this get forgotten. Because when it's forgotten, that's when it'll go to trial.
Just so you can see. Alright. Here you go. You got the Vance guy at the refuge. I assume that's a mass media truck there. Alright, let's see. There's the Vance guy. And you got Eamon Bundy inside the refuge. And you'll notice here, the Punisher skull tattooed on his hand. That's what I was talking about. Alright, let's keep on going. This is I think it's the same picture. Maybe it's just two pictures that look very similar. And you got this, okay, his name is Wesley Vance. And here, he's staying at the Silver Spur. And he's basically begging for money because he doesn't have enough money to stay there another night. He needs $40. Alright, public information, freely available. Here you go. Captain O, Ryan Bundy, Eamon Bundy. I don't know who that guy is, or that guy. You can only assume this Wesley guy, Wesley Vance, is taking this picture. And this looks like to be Captain O. And then now we're back to that same picture. Let's close this out. Alright, now let's go to this folder. Pete Santilli and Deb. And it's with the Vance guy, the Wesley Vance. Alright, here we go. Bet you haven't seen these pictures. Here we go. Oh, look, it's Pete Santilli showing us the best of his personality. So who is this Wesley Vance guy, right? He seems to get around. Everyone seems to know him, right? Everyone. Okay. Oh, look, it's the Orange Hat Man. And Wesley. And look, another picture with Pete Santilli. And This Wesley guy. So they all know each other, right? You got Sergeant Mo, and you got this guy. You got Pete Santilli, and you got this guy. Orange Hat Man, you got this guy. Oh, look at this. It's Susanna Cole, or Deb, or whoever, and this guy. I wonder if he knows her real name. There you go. And, yeah, back to the greatest hits, I guess. And they're just basically, looks like they redid the same picture a couple times. Yeah, okay, it's a different picture. You can tell by the face expression, but same gesture. Interesting. Guess you really wanted to convey that message, huh? Alright, let's close that. And let's see. Now, how did I find these pictures? Well, Mark McConnell was easy. I went to his Facebook. He's opened it up since after all this happened. I mean, before he had his Facebook on lockdown, but then he opened it up, and then so you could see all the pictures he had. But the way I found all these other pictures is through Blood Agent. See, it pays to look up these people who run rallies. It turns out Blood Agent's knee deep with Pete Santilli, Sergeant Mo, and all these other people. This Wesley Vance guy. Many more. They're all buddies on Facebook, and they all communicate. So let's go to some Blood Agent. Now these images are interesting in that you will see the exact skull that Professor Doom uses. The exact, not something that's really close. The exact. So Professor Doom is linked to these people in some way, or he just rips off their imagery, or something else. I don't know. Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't believe in that kind of stuff, though. Here we go. First, let's just see some of how they present themselves. Looks pretty scary, huh? This guy, he's wearing a skull mask. Alright. It's not scary to me. It's kind of a joke, but I'm sure it's probably scary to some of y'all. Let's keep on going. No, it's the skull mask guy. Here we go. And here we go. And here's, in Georgia, here's all their locations that they're set up. So that's just Georgia. They're actually nationwide. I don't know how many states actually has the security force, 3% security force, but they do seem to be national. There are a lot more states than just Georgia. Ah, here you go. Who does that look like? Who is that exactly? You can find that skull right now on Professor Doom's channel, or however many channels he has. That exact skull. Well, there it is. There it is. For you don't know, Professor Doom's a felon, can't even own a gun. Legally, anyways. He's actually said in one of his videos, I think it's the video where he admits he's a felon and has a huge criminal record, that guns are around him and he can use a gun if he wants to, which is another felony. He should actually probably go to jail, back to jail. But no one will call him out on that, right? He can make those kind of threats, I guess, and get away with it. I wonder why. I wonder why someone can get away with those kind of threats. Alright. So you got the 3% Georgia throwing some gang signs. You know, I guess this must be the 3% gang sign. You know, which I've seen elsewhere in, you know, actual gangs, but I guess they're just recycling it. So there you go. The 3% gang sign. And yeah, you got Blood Agent in there somewhere. I think he's right in the front. And here you go. And I think that's Blood Agent with the Under Armour hat there. And oh yeah, Here you go. There's some screenshots that Blood Agent took. So he's in contact with Sergeant Mo. This is either Blood Agent or the Security Forces Facebook. I can't remember. It's basically the same thing. Yeah. So there you go, Sergeant Mo. And she's just having a ball. Oh, look, and there's the Punisher. There's the Punisher skull again. See, now this one says Oath Keepers. So Oath Keepers, 3%er, they all use this Punisher skull. I don't know if it's because they want to, seem like they're scary or crazy or what, or they just wanted to recycle some, a symbol that's already been used elsewhere. But it is the Punisher skull, and this one has the 3% on there. See, never surrender. Oh, I guess no one told Brandon Curtis that. And yes, I think it's, yeah, okay. So that's done. So, those are all the pictures. However, I got one more thing to show you. Now, this is on Blood Agent's Facebook. It's worthy. The reason it's worthy is because, oh no, Captain Mo, or Sergeant Mo, sorry. Sergeant Mo needs your help. She's broke. She needs to, help to be able to travel back and forth from her home by train. She needs to be there for Pete.
Alright, well, I talked to Sergeant Mo. I'm going to interrupt here because I talked to Sergeant Mo. She's down there just trying to court report. She's not just trying to help Pete. She's out there court reporting for everybody. And, I'm not sure why he's got a beef with Mo, but I'm gonna say this is a little bit of bullshit. So anyway,
because he has his hearing tomorrow.
But it isn't Sergeant Mo saying this; it's this other guy. So
she's getting low on funds, needs to purchase one more day here through Friday. It's hard to see with the video here, but basically it says, and Pete has his final release hearing, and yada yada yada. And you can help her by using your debit card and etc. And there you go. I just wanted to show you that. These people are all linked. So you got crazy Blood Agent. Look at him. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I there's a certain level of all this I have to agree with. It just seems all these people are interlinked together. But you could say the same thing about me. I'm going to the same people for the same things. I guess you could call me interlinked too. It's
doing my face.
Let me finish it. There we go. I guess you could say I'm interlinked too, but what you gonna say? I'm just, I'm putting people on the news. I'm putting you on the news. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm going, and I'm looking at stuff, going, that's an interesting thought, and all that kind of stuff. And I thought you guys might want to see this stuff too. I go through, oh my God, hundreds of videos and news articles a day, and and some of it is, I just find, oh well, this is bullshit, and then I try to burrow my way in and filter it out and find out what's what, and and then there's stuff like that. Y'all can make up your own minds. I have to assume that people that are listening are smart enough to figure it out for themselves. But, all sides of the story are kind of important. So anyway, on with this next bit.
Alright. Now, I was doing my Facebook sweep of people that I have been tracing, to get some information. And I came across this post by one of the people. And they actually point out a very good bit of information. and I had to figure out what document they were actually looking at. And then I realized to go back to that website for that county sheriff website that had all the information that was released the other day. Well, they actually released another document that I totally was oblivious to it. Well, I got it now. It's a huge document, 360 pages, and the key page that this person pointed out, I referenced it, so I'm at that key page, and it's like a bombshell. This is a bombshell. The sheriff department is either lying or they're just covering for Mark McConnell. They've actually erased Mark McConnell from the entire investigation. They even claim that the Jeep is Ryan Payne's. They don't even mention Mark McConnell at all. It says right here, crime scene evidence was identified as a white Dodge pickup, a green Jeep associated to Ryan Payne. They actually say associated to Ryan Payne, so they don't have to say Mark McConnell, who, that's his Jeep. Mark McConnell owns that Jeep. And then it goes on to say, now this is key, because people say, well, Mark McConnell wasn't technically arrested, he was detained. Well, guess what? Victoria Sharp wasn't arrested either. However, persons arrested at the scene were Eamon Bundy, Ryan Payne, Brian Cavalier, Shauna Cox, and a juvenile female. Even Victoria Sharp is listed here, but not by name. She's referred to. Mark McConnell isn't even listed in the document. His Jeep is identified, but is only associated to Ryan Payne. Notice, they didn't even bother putting the VIN number or the license plate of the Jeep in this document, but they sure did put Lavoy Finicum's vehicle license plate and VIN number in there. Why would they do that? Why would they omit it? Because they don't want you even thinking of Mark McConnell. Because if they did that, it would trace back to Mark McConnell. This is huge. Now, I haven't even been able to even look at this document at all, really. I just came to this page. And the guy's Facebook didn't even point out the whole omission of the VIN number and license plate. I've just seen that. I mean, this sheriff's department is really messed up here. I don't know if they were told by the FBI or someone to cover this up, or I have no idea. This is bad, though. How can you release an official document and you've redacted it, but you've just omitted lots of truth and facts here? I think everyone should download this. This is big. I mean, is Mark McConnell, is he really an FBI informant, or is he just a state witness, or is he, what is he? I mean, they actually cover him up. They don't even name him at all. Now, granted, I have not looked, I've only looked at this one page. It's 360 pages. Maybe he's named in here somewhere. I don't think so, because they just cover who got arrested. And we all know Victoria Sharp did not get arrested. She did not get arrested. She was dropped off somewhere else. She didn't even go to the police department. And according to Mark McConnell, he was thrown in the into the transport vehicle with everyone else. And then he said he got interviewed by the FBI for 2 hours. And he also said in an interview that Victoria Sharp wasn't even taken in the transport vehicle. She was dropped off in the middle of nowhere. This is according to him in an interview that he gave to Mike Soror and Eric Spitfire. I listened to that interview, and he clearly says that. He was caught in many lies. He's been caught in many lies before that and after that. So this is big, and this document's huge. And I'm wondering if they just didn't expect anyone to look at this. Many people have already seen this, and I'm seeing it just now, and this is wow. I recommend everyone download this immediately. I'll leave a link in the description box of this video. And I'm going to continue looking at this document, see if there's any other glaring omissions or anomalies or anything. This is bad. Until next time.
Whisper campaign. A method of persuasion in which damaging rumors or innuendo are deliberately spread concerning a person or other target, while the source of the rumors tries to avoid detection. Whisper campaign synonyms: rumor campaign. WHISPERCAMPAIGN.
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host on this Friday, March 11th, 2016. We're going to go back to your phone calls here in just a moment. And in the next segment, we're going to be talking to Mitchell Firestein. He is a highly successful hedge fund manager. He wrote a book called Planet Ponzi, also has a website of the same name. How politicians and bankers stole your future. And what happens next? How you can survive. So we're going to be talking to Mitchell Firestein in the next sequence. Let's talk to Jeremiah in California. You're up next. Jeremiah, go ahead.
Hey, I was calling about the debate last night. And I think that over the last week, we've really seen, the Liberty Movement has really seen Ted Cruz really manifest into what he is. And
Yes.
it very much is the quintessential opportunist. And right now, I think that the Liberty Movement that he really courted for so long and tried to impress, he's really just turning his back on them. And, speaking of that, that's another thing that I wanted to bring up was that what has gone on in Oregon, like your last caller brought up, I absolutely have been floored, David Knight, that you have the audacity to call Pete Santilli a shill. Even if you don't like his reporting, I can't believe that you would do this instead of backing a media journalist in jail. I mean, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Is it a competitive thing?
No, actually, we did it because he was the one who encouraged them to go there. He had an involvement that went far beyond being simply a journalist. And if you don't understand that, I was at the Bundy standoff. I was there at Bunkerville. I know what happened there. Go listen to the recording that he had with Dan Love. He basically puts himself in charge. So he basically, I think, he created this whole situation to a large degree. That's my personal opinion. Okay, I think that he presented himself in a very unwise situation there. But that's, you disagree with me, that's fine. Yeah, he does do some journalism occasionally. Let's talk to Al in Oregon. Al, go ahead. Al, you there? Hello, Al. Okay, he's not there. You know, one of the things we're talking about the debates, and I do agree with Jeremiah in California that, yeah, we've seen the mask come off of Ted Cruz. We understand where he is. I think from the very beginning, he was there to take the libertarian vote that would have gone to Rand Paul. He presented himself as somebody who stood for individual rights, who stood for the Constitution, and now we're seeing what happens as we see the people lining up behind him who have pushed a forever war, who have pushed the police and surveillance state, who have called Ed Snowden a traitor, who say that he ought to be executed. And, of course, they repeat that he should be executed. It was repeated by Ted Cruz. Now we see who he is. We see the bankers lining up behind him. We see the massive number of donors quietly aligning behind him. Wealthy investors, as we pointed out before, we've read this article too, shooting skeet with him in Park City, Utah, meeting with him in a clubby restaurant in Washington. This is a guy who has nearly as much in terms of financial backers from Wall Street as Marco Rubio does. And they were the co-heirs to the Sheldon Adelson primary. Sheldon Adelson couldn't really make up his mind whether he wanted to go with Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz. I should have told you something right there. He is the guy who is out front for the neocons, and he is not a conservative. I think when I look at the public displays of piety and then what he does to people like Ben Carson in the Iowa caucus, even what he said about Marco Rubio, putting out that fake video. Yeah, there's no answers in that book, saying that Marco Rubio trolled his dad by pointing to the Bible and saying there's no answers in that book. We see that over and over again. Also, telling and trolling Donald Trump for saying 2 Corinthians. I mean, the message to me is that, hey, if you're a low-information Christian, you're not welcome at church. We don't need to be sending that message out. We need to be sending out a message of charity, and that is what we've seen in Ben Carson, and I think he cannot get over the hypocrisy that he saw in Ted Cruz. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Mitchell Firestein. We're going to be talking to Mitchell Firestein about his book and website called Planet Ponzi. He's coming up in just a moment. He is a highly successful hedge fund manager, CEO of the Glacial Environmental Fund Limited. And so we're going to talk to him about his book, Planet Ponzi. What is a Ponzi scheme? And define the giant Ponzi scheme that we're all right in the middle of right now. Before we go to him, real quickly, there's a breaking story that's up on the Drudge Report. Clinton IT specialist revealing server details to FBI is a devastating witness. And this is the man, we mentioned this the other day, Judge Napolitano talked about it, Brian Pagliano. He is the IT specialist who set up the server. And as Judge Napolitano pointed out, he said they're going to be talking to him about whose idea it was to set up this conspiracy to evade the restrictions on classified documents. They point out, they say, Brian Pagliano is a devastating witness. And as the webmaster, he knows exactly who had access to Clinton's computer and devices at specific times. His importance to this case cannot be overemphasized, said an anonymous intelligence source. So that's going to be very interesting. Of course, the key thing about it, which is what Judge Napolitano was talking about, was that they granted him immunity. He took the Fifth Amendment. He said, I'm not going to talk about this. And they said, guess what? We'll give you immunity to get you to talk. You don't do that. We've had multiple prosecutors at high levels talking about this, and it's common sense. You don't give immunity to somebody at a low level unless you want to get information on somebody that's higher up. The question is, how far up do they want to go? Ultimately, that buck stops with Hillary Clinton herself. Interesting new development in that story. Let's go now to our guest, Mitchell Firestein. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Firestein.
Thanks for having me here today.
Tell us, first of all, about Ponzi schemes. We all hear the term. Many of us know what a Ponzi scheme is. Tell us a little bit about your definition of a Ponzi scheme and how it came about.
Well, what's important is the book that I've written is the best descriptor of the global Ponzi scheme is Planet Ponzi, because what we have are governments around the world that think that they can, by printing money and executing these schemes like quantitative easing and asset purchases, they can reinflate the economies of the world and create jobs by printing hundreds of trillions of dollars. Now, this is an utter failure. It's been a failure. And this is, you can't pay your way out of debt with borrowed money. And my book goes through line by line what the governments have done, and it examines, actually using the government's own data, the problems that they've created. So what they've done is basically made the problems exponentially worse by money printing. You know, you can see we've got the central banks. In the United States, we've got the U.S. Federal Reserve. In Europe, we've got the European Central Bank. And in Japan, we've got Bank of Japan. And in England, we've got the Bank of England. All of them have increased the total amount of debt, the sum, exponentially.
All right, I'm going to pause this. This is 44 minutes long. Somebody asked me to play this for a specific reason, but I'm not sure what that reason was. And they didn't tell me when, at what video point I should do that. And they were in the chat room a minute ago, so if you could kind of help me out. I'm going to go on to the next video, and we'll come back to this.
Hey guys, it's Dallas. It's March 11th, Friday. I just wanted to go over some things with you guys, and you know, I've said it before, I've said it to a lot of people, that we're living in a soft kill genocide. Now, I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second, because I'm really getting tired of the future that we are leaving for our children. It's just so mind-boggling. When you put it all together like what I just did here, you might see what I'm talking about, and some of y'all may have never heard of these things, and I'm going to get through this as fast as I can. This is called the Georgia Guidestones. Supposedly this is the plan that the elite have for when shit hits the fan. I'm going to read this real quick. It says, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Yeah, that's really happening. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Okay? Now, the reason why I say genocide is, let me come over to here. Some of you may not even know this. Where is it at? Here it is. What genocide is the deliberate killing of a large group of people, especially those of a particular ethnic group or nation. A massacre. Some people say, well, I don't think we're in a massacre. Okay, well, let me go over here. I just want to run through some statistics some of you all may not be aware of. And a lot of these have been unheard of. These numbers were unheard of in the 70s, 80s, before we had GMOs, before technology came out. So I want to go through this real quick. The survey finds that 160 million Americans are either obese or overweight. The U.S. has 78 million obese adults, the highest number of any country in the world. Even China with 4 times the population. Okay? Next. The official unemployment. I put how many Americans are unemployed. The official unemployment rate only classifies people as unemployed if they are actively looking for work. What about all those people who aren't looking? Mr. Trump is right. A little under 93 million people in America do not have jobs. Okay? How many children are obese? The percentage of overweight children in the United States is growing at an alarming rate, with 1 out of 3 kids now considered overweight or obese. How many children have ADHD? The APA, American Psychiatric Association, says that 5% of American children have ADHD. Okay? Now I want to get over into here. I don't know if you guys know what this is. The pineal gland. Go here. And I'll leave these links also. What is the pineal gland? The pineal gland, also called the pineal body, is a small endocrine gland in the vertebrate brain. It produces the serotonin derivative melatonin, a hormone that affects the modulation of wake sleep patterns and seasonal functions. Okay, hang on. Now, what is serotonin and melatonin? Serotonin and melatonin are both hormones that regulate various human functions such as sleep, appetite, and mood. Serotonin, which is produced in the body, is known as a neurotransmitter. This means it is responsible for sending messages between nerve cells. You guys are probably like, okay, what are you getting at, Dallas? What I'm getting at is, why are we not upset about a lot of things here? First of all, I wanted to talk about, this is in USA Today.
All right, I'm going to have Dallas on next week as a guest here on Revolution Radio. This guy's got a lot of good things to say, and I've been paying close attention to his videos when he puts them up, and I'll put the link to this full video in the chat, but I'd like you to go take a look at it when you have a chance. But been watching some stuff. I'm kind of running out of stuff, but I saw that Steve Kelly finally made a bid for president. He finally put up a video as a bid for president. So here you go.
Hey everybody, Skippy here. Hello ladies. Anyway, I'm here with an important announcement. It's about the presidential campaign. I'm sure you're aware that somebody else is running for president, a surprise candidate. You need more clues? That's right, Skippy is running for president. Okay? That's right. It is official. I am the secret candidate. Wow, look at that sunset. It's beautiful. I am running independent. That's right, just me, myself, and I. Well, and my buddy Dave, who made these really cool t-shirts for me. I am running for president 2016. Why? Do I really need to get into it? Take a look at the lineup. Look at these schmucks. What is the one thing that they all have in common? None of them are nice. That's right, think about it. All of the presidential candidates are mean. My campaign motto, be nice. It's that simple, just be nice. Hey, we're gonna bomb your country with missiles and bombs. Be nice. Can't we just talk about this? I mean, do you like to fish? I love to fish. I'll tell you what, I'll buy you lunch. Let's talk about it. Let's be nice. They all just seem like mean people. I mean, Trump, you want this guy for your next president? He just seems grumpy and mad. And I mean, he seems like he's going to start a lot of fights if he becomes the president. I don't know. And Hillary, I mean, I don't know. She just seems miserable too. All the proceeds to these shirts are going to my political campaign. Now, if I do not become the president, I'm probably just going to spend the money. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, look at this shit show of a campaign going on. Do you think it really matters what I do with the money for these t-shirts? No. Purchase a shirt. Show us where you stand. 2016 Skippy for president. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. 2016 Skippy. You heard it here. Let's go. Let's make this happen. Talk to you soon. Lose Cruz, dump Trump, Rubio's a boobio, Clinton's bullshitting, Sanders is Neander's thaw. Old. So, Skippy 2016. Hey, ladies.
I got a lot of documents and files incriminating evidence on me from the government, you know what I'm saying? I need to dump the footage, the knowledge, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how what correct terminology they use. Good. I want to dump that stuff. There's a lot of bodies they're trying to pin on me right now, and I don't have no way to hide this, you know what I'm saying? So I was recommended that I get what's called an external hard drive, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one of these,
that's right.
You know what I'm talking about, boss? Yeah. It's like that for the outside of the computer. It keeps all your files and systems in order.
I have one.
So I need that to get rid of some of the evidence that they got on me.
Yeah.
As far as the pictures, what can I do? Because they got a lot of video and picture evidence on me as well, too.
You can put that on there.
What about the actual physical cameras that they took the pictures with? Because I got a lot of stuff against me. You know, they got a strong case, is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get rid of that stuff. What's the best way to get rid of it?
To get rid of your cameras?
To everything, all the evidence. There's bloody gloves that I got stuffed under the mattress. There's a butcher knife out back that I don't know where that came from, but I got to get rid of it. Can you do that with an external hard drive? Can that take everything? Take care of all that stuff?
That will take all your...
All right, sorry. Stuff got moved off my desk, and I got a little frustrated and had to go find the stuff. I did not even mean to go into this video. I meant to go into this video, but it doesn't matter. So, what are we going to do now? Gets a little frustrating. All right, so if you want to call in 702-605-4277, I'm sure you guys got some stuff to say about everything I've been talking about tonight. If you don't, well, there's about a 3-minute buffer going on here, and gets funnier. You know, it just gets weirder and funnier every moment. You know, just like, be nice. Be nice. You know, being nice is not going to happen. Yeah, it's time to be nice anymore. Guess I can hijack some people. Hey Jerry, what's up, man?
Wow. Hi, Nitehawk. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? I hijacked you. I'm all alone out here.
Yeah, I noticed. I was just sitting here eating and talking to the dog.
Well, you know, I'm sitting here. I understand what you're saying. I'm cooking a dog, and but just joking. Anyway.
Yeah, I sent a couple bucks in the other day to help feed all them cats you got, man. You got a ton of them.
Oh yeah, thank you very much.
More than welcome.
But this. What did you think about? Yeah, I really fretted about putting out the video I put out. I figured somebody else would do it first, and they didn't.
Wow.
That way, if somebody else wanted to get busted in their bullshit, they could. But I kept looking at that picture, going, "This is not right." And there's something wrong with this picture, and I mean, Liz has her own website, LizSafeSelf.com. That's what she does for a living.
Right.
And she looked at that and she goes, that's kind of an impossible pocket. It's in the way of the buttonholes. It's in the way of everything.
You sent me that link and I'm looking at it. You had me standing on my head trying to figure out what was wrong. I could see something was wrong, but it wasn't registering in my brain. So I'm looking at Simon, he's looking at me, he's cocking his head, and we're like, yeah, there's something going. And then when you just started to zoom in, your first zoom, I seen it right away. So it's Photoshop, it doesn't match. It was so obvious to me once you pointed it out, but you can tell there's something wrong, but even the angle on everything it's hard to wrap your brain around it. It was just crazy.
Well, yeah, and the point I was trying to do was hoping that people would get their heads around it before I actually said, here's what's wrong.
Right.
And even with Liz, I put her cold on that photo. You know, I said, I don't want you looking at this until you can sit down with me and look at this. And you heard her confusion. She was like, well, is that a rivet or is this or that? Because she's looking at it from a seamstress point of view. But, you know, after a minute, she goes, oh, wow, okay. I see what the hell you're talking about. And I didn't, you know, and I don't think I prompted her, did I?
No, she seemed there was something wrong.
Right. So, anyway. Hey, Steve, what's up, man?
Not much.
Hey, did you look at the video I put up earlier?
Yes, I did. I see it.
Yeah, what do you think?
I know it's pretty wild. I mean, it looks pretty incriminating for the FBI.
Well, yeah, definitely. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm not trying to defend myself, and we've seen a lot of people put out videos that are way screwier or way, you know, unprovable or whatever, but, you know, and I did not want to put that video out until I kind of thought, you know, not even kind of, I'm just damn sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing, you know. So, I mean, really, what do you think about that video itself?
The one with, the one you made with the pistol?
Yeah, the Photoshop botch.
Oh, yeah. Well, it doesn't look good. I mean, they claim he had a pistol in that, but, you know, your video kind of tells a little bit different story, I think. It just don't look for them guys, but, you know, I've got this feeling that they're going to come out and say something like, well, we investigated ourselves and we found that we didn't do anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. But, you know, it's like when I brought up all those photos, quite obviously I showed that the denim that they were trying to show and the pocket and all that, you know, material green was not matching. My wife said that. The pocket didn't fit. My wife said that. I mean, she's the seamstress. I don't know anything about this stuff.
Right.
You know, but the whole thing always looked a little weird to me. But when I started pulling that down, you know, into a deep focus, into all that, you know, you could actually start seeing the Photoshop marks.
Yeah.
Not only that, Nighthawk, the original story was that it was a stolen gun. Then they came back. It was a gift from a family friend. They can't even get that straight, and that was a pristine weapon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was pristine. That looked like a brand new, just bought.
Yep.
9. There was no oil on the barrel. There was no dirt on the butt. And, you know, when I showed you guys the picture of the butt, there was some, you know, I mean, there was some crap buried into the, you know, it looked like a gun that had been used, shot, played with, whatever, however you want to put it.
Yeah, I did.
But, you know, that firearm looked like it had been used. And somebody said that's called a lanyard hole. Well, I'm not sure what the hell that even means, you know, but, you know, it was kind of packed up with some bullshit, and there was a lot of brown stuff around there. Well, you know, the gun we saw in that very pristine picture, you know, did they clean it up first? Did they give that gun a really nice, good cleanup?
I got a kick out of the buttonhole there on that little piece that they photoshopped in there. They couldn't even get the buttonhole running in the right direction. It was running 90 degrees to the other buttonholes. That's a new one on me.
Well, yeah, you know, I don't think it's a buttonhole. I think it's either a bleach spot or a scrape or something like that. But still, it's in the wrong direction. And still, the tint between the two pieces of material don't even match up.
Yeah, it was like me when I buy a new Levi jacket, and in the beginning it'd be a dark blue, and then as time went on, or a pair of jeans. If I bought them at different times, the jeans wouldn't match up with the jacket because of the color dyes would be fading. And that's exactly what it reminded me of, is two different dye batches of something that was bought at different times. It was definitely there was no match up there whatsoever once you got even relatively close.
Right.
But even if that was a pocket, how in the world would somebody get a 9mm out of that pocket? I don't even know how he could get his hand in there with the weapon, let alone get it out.
Yeah, exactly. It was ass packed in tight, and if you go back, Lavoy did have a shoulder holster. If he was going to take his 9 with him, and we know he had one, and he left it at the refuge with David Fry. We never seen any evidence of any of this crap until after they got Fry off of the refuge. And if he was going to take that 9 with him, it would have been in his shoulder holster, which we seen on him. People kept using that shoulder holster as evidence that he was reaching for a gun.
Right.
All right. So now all those people that kept trying to use that as evidence that he was reaching for a gun in his shoulder holster is complete and total bullshit. Because if he had had a shoulder holster on him at the time, that's where the gun would have been. He wouldn't have just left his shoulder holster behind and then say, well, hell, I think I'll stick this gun in my, in my fleece pocket or whatever the hell. I'll just stick this gun in my oversized, out of the way, broken button pocket or whatever.
Well, common sense too, Nitehawk. When when you seen the cell phone video from the inside of the vehicle that was matched up to the FBI footage from the outside, the grainy footage they gave us, you noticed that even with shots coming into the vehicle, you heard shots coming at various times. You never seen him pull a weapon out. That would have been the time he would be pulling a weapon out, I would think, if he intended to pull a weapon, even if he had a weapon. He surely wouldn't wait until he was 15 feet into the snow with them fully armed to pull a weapon out. Don't you think he'd at least pulled one out when he got out of the vehicle?
Honestly, I think.
I mean, I would have if that was my intent, but I don't believe that. I don't believe the story is even coming close to adding up any shape or form. But the problem is, we know that. We can show it, but is there going to be anybody that brings this evidence forward and catches these guys? Is there any adults left that are going to say, yeah, you guys were wrong?
Yeah, exactly. And somebody just said something in the chat that I said earlier. I looked at the entire autopsy report. I read the entire, oh my God, it took me all day, 302 page. Or maybe more. I don't know. It seemed like it was 302 pages, I think. A police report. I read the whole thing. And I'm going, okay, this crap ain't adding up. And so, this kind of thing. Listen, folks, I know you have something to say. Area code 702-605-4277 if you want to call in. So, hey, Terry, what's up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. What's up?
Yeah. Oh, nothing. I haven't had time to review everything yet because I just got home. And now I've got a jackass dog that needs round 2.
Well, yeah.
One of the things that upset me when I looked at it was, they showed the little body where the rounds went into him. The 3 rounds, they were all from the rear. Now that really upset me. They shot him from behind. They shot this man in the back.
Oh yeah, and we saw that via the video. So, if this had happened in an inner city neighborhood, what do you think the result would have been? And I'm not talking about racist stuff. I'm just talking about the reality.
That's a tough question anymore, Nitehawk, because it doesn't seem like reality is working anymore. I'm seeing all these crazy things being done, people being punished for doing nothing, for being patriots and caring about other people and about their country, and yet the people who are trying to drag the country through the mud, they're just going scot-free. It's like it's upside down.
Yes, definitely.
Because
Hey, area code 530, you need to turn your radio off in the background, and we will get to you in just 1 second, okay?
Yep, sorry about that.
All right, no problem. Anyway, go ahead, Jerry.
Well, it's just a simple fact that my main concern at this point right now is that, who's gonna make this thing right? Who's gonna make all these BML land grabs? Who's gonna get on top of it? I know Trump did come out. He put a nice letter out in the newspaper before he went into Nevada. It was a good article, and he agrees there's overreach. But other than Trump, I don't see anybody else coming forward. They don't even talk about stuff like this. It's like we're on a completely different waveform than the mainstream media. They don't even talk about the BML and their land grabs and stuff. They talk about crazy stuff, that doesn't cares about Bruce Jenner or whoever he is now. Who cares about that stuff? This is real life going on here. People are being murdered, and they just fluff it off like it's no big deal. All I'm saying is, there anybody left going to come forward? Are there good judges, good attorneys, good military people going to come forward and back us on this thing? We can't do it by ourselves. We need backing. We need some adults here.
Yeah, definitely need adults, and we just gotta keep pumping forward, and that's why I keep doing this. A lot of the alternative media are moving on to the next thing or whatever the next thing is. But anyway, area code 530, you're next up. You're on there. Who dat, where you at, and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, this is Argyle 67 from the chat there and everything, and just want to call in and say, yeah, we definitely need to move on to a solution. We already know what the problem is, and yeah, I agree with you guys. We definitely need a solution. I don't know if our community can come up with that, or if it's going to be more like the results of what we do within our community that actually causes the solution to happen within the machine that's currently running the system.
Well, yeah, I have to agree with that. People are so fed up, and and I've been saying for a long time, it just continues to look like we're just waiting for that. It just seems like somebody is waiting for somebody to step out front and fire the first shot.
Yeah, they're that's the up.
Right, and and I'm not saying that in a violent manner, because they're just looking for somebody to get out front and lead the charge.
I totally agree, Hawk.
And
in my opinion, the FBI already fired that first shot.
Well, no, I'm talking about our side. Somebody to lead the charge. And now everybody that was leading the charge is in solitary confinement.
Yep, they were definitely trying to entice us.
Gavin there.
Yeah. Gavin is doing an amazing job. There's a whole bunch of people that are doing a really good job, and there's a whole bunch of people that are doing bullshit jobs. Just trying to get some hits and all that kind of stuff.
Sergeant Moe's out there in the front of it all, too.
Do what?
Sergeant Moe's out there in the front, too. She's out there on those
definitely.
lines.
Yeah, and I've been watching people, cutting on her and stuff. I'm like, seriously? She's going in there, whether it's at her expense or somebody else's, trying to support her. She's in there reporting what the hell is going on. Why do I got to listen to somebody? But, I play all my videos for a reason. Just to show the division and the bullshit. Okay, everybody hold on. We got another caller. Area code 937. You're on there. Who dat?
Hi, this is Equine.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing good. I was calling in because I've had personal contact via phone and Facebook PMs with Mark McConnell, and I've also been turned into the FBI, and I kind of wanted to tell you about that and how that went about.
All right, well, let's go into depth, because I don't know anything about Mark McConnell except for what I've heard and my suspicions, but I have no proof of anything. So let's go into depth on that.
Okay. It started out the night of Gavin's live stream, where 70K was watching, and everyone was throwing out FBI numbers like crazy, trying to call the FBI to tell them to stand down until daylight at least. I grabbed a number, it was busy. I grabbed another number that said, call this number ASAP, he can get there quick. I called it and a man answered. I asked him if he was the FBI. He said, no, how'd you get my number? And I said, well, I'm sorry, I got the wrong number. You obviously can't help me, and I hung up.
Okay.
He called me 40 minutes later while Gavin's stream was still going live. I found out this was Joe Santoro from the Oath Keepers that I had accidentally called.
Oh, really?
Yes. Joe Santoro told me he had just got off the phone with the FBI and that he was in a lot of contact with the FBI. Then he proceeded to drill me. So...
All right, well, hold on. Okay, I want to pause you for a minute.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, during this whole thing, I was calling Joe on a regular basis to get updates, and he kept saying that he was down there talking to the FBI every day for the Oath Keepers. So anyway, go ahead.
Yes, he did. So he starts drilling me on who I am. So for safety, I'm on my home phone, but I'm telling him I'm recording him. And I start to ask him, are you FBI? He said, no comment. Are you working for the FBI? No comment. Are you associated in any way with the FBI? He said, no comment. Then he asked me if I'd like to be turned into the FBI. I told him, go right on ahead. I did nothing wrong. And that was the end of that phone call. The next day is when they took the 4 out of the refuge. At 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Agent Casey from the FBI in Chicago called me, which scared the crap out of me. He proceeded to tell me he did not know my name and wasn't going to ask my name, but get this, I used my pay-by-minute cell phone the night before, and the FBI called me on my home number. So they lied right there. They already knew who I was when they called me. Then they wanted to know if I had had contact with any of the 4 in the refuge. I hadn't. I'm in Ohio. I was just simply trying to call the FBI to ask them to step down. The agent was pretty nice to me and said that he was calling because of a phone call he got about me. So Joe Santoro had called on me. So then I hang up the phone with him, and I see Mark McConnell on Lavoy Finicum's Facebook page. And I'm wondering how the heck he got allowed on the Facebook page. And several people had already commented that, why was he on there? He said it was to clear his name. Well, Joe Santoro had already told me that he was in the same vehicle with Mark McConnell, and him and his girl took Mark McConnell to the motel with the Oath Keepers. So I asked Mark McConnell to go to private messaging with me in Facebook. And I am the one who got him to go on live stream on Mike Sawyer's Soror's show. And he PM'd me back and forth several times, and we talked twice on the phone. And what he said live on the air differs greatly from the private messages he sent me and from our phone conversations. He is either infiltrated, working with them, a narc, something. He denied live on air that he was with any militia. He admitted through private PMs he was the leader of the Arizona Oath Keepers. He told me his ammunition and his weapons were not seized. On air, he said they were seized. I asked him why he yelled at Victoria in the back of the van, because that's what Victoria had said, and why he was so concerned about his Jeep. And he said that is a 2015 Jeep with only 10K miles on it, and they scuffed it. Something to worry about why Lavoy's laying there dead, right?
Well, yeah, definitely. And I still, let me ask you one thing. We're talking about the same person. Sergeant Major Joe Santorum, right?
Yes.
All right. All right, thank you. That's what I needed to know.
Say hi.
Go ahead.
You learned.
I still have his phone number on my cell, too.
Can you do me a favor and email me that phone number so I can compare it?
Yes, I will do.
All right, thank you very much. It's not up in the chat. It's not up on the video right now, but I'll put it up there in a minute. Something happened to my broadcast setup, and I'm still trying to sort that out. So,
Do you want to know how to get rid of that echo you have there?
Yeah, I need to get a gate. I keep forgetting to put down my mute button.
No, you don't really need to mute it. You don't really need to mute your microphone. You can mute the guest that you have on your XSplit there. Just mute that entire section.
It's just a matter of the gate. I'm sorry. I forgot. I kept forgetting to hit my personal mute button, and I'm waiting on my gate to show up, and it's been on back order for 3 weeks. So
You could have just blamed it on them darn cats.
yeah, but anyway, let's move on. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, well, in our private messages, he proceeds to say that he yelled at Victoria in the back of the van because he was in fear that there was audio or video going on in the back of the van. He also told me that they dropped Victoria off at a fast stop or something like that, kind of like a pullover stop. So she was the first one out. He says the only reason why he was not arrested was because he was the only one that didn't do anything illegal. Yet, he admitted to me that he was the only one carrying that day. He told me he was the driver, Buddha was in the front seat, and Amun was in the back seat. And he told me he was the only one carrying that day, yet he's the only one that did not get arrested. So he admitted to me that that was his Jeep, what year it was, and how many miles it was on there. And now I just saw where you guys showed paperwork where his Jeep's not even showing up or his name's not even showing up. So since this time, I have to admit, people question me. People were afraid that maybe I had some kind of contact because I had spoke with Mark.
Well, I mean, quite honestly, the story you're telling me, not that I'm questioning you, I'm just saying the story you're telling me doesn't match up with anything that we're listening to over here on the so-called official stories.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to get Mark live on the air. And once Mark was live on the air, I've got the PMs where I've tried to get him live on the air, and he's saying, "Look, lady, I don't even know you, And I'm like, well, this is a chance to prove your side of the story and get things straight. But when he got on there, he only dug himself deeper into a grave.
Nobody's buying that story. Everybody that got pulled over that day, regardless of who they were or what they were doing, at least ended up in jail for a minute. He was cut loose the next day. And from every account I have gotten, they were supposed to have a convoy going to John Day, and he was pushing them to just go ahead and go. And
I asked Mark about that too.
Right.
He said that he was just telling them that they should be spread apart. Now, we all know being close together is key. he purposely was trying to spread them apart.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, when we looked at the other video from Shauna Cox's video, you know, Ryan was going, we got 2 lakhs. We got 2 lakhs. We got 2 lakhs. You know, we heard that 3 times.
And also, he goes on to admit that he was with Joe Santoro a lot in the hotel room, and they were having a lot of communication with the FBI. And told me, no, Joe didn't come right out and say it, but he was freely talking in front of everyone about what the FBI was telling him. So it was either Joe, and Mark's the one that told me and verified with me that Joe Santoro turned me into the FBI.
Well, it's all right. Here again, I got to get back to the name. Sergeant Major Joe Santorum. Joe Santorum with an M on the end. Are we talking about the same person?
Yes, the leader of an Oath Keeper. Well, he's with Stewart.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So I just happened to grab the wrong number off Gavin's stream that night, is how all this started.
Right.
So I just wanted to let you know I've got private messages from Mark that completely dispute what he says live on air.
Right.
I actually had to block him. He would not stop. And I was getting so scared, especially after the FBI called me. So I've since kind of backed off a little bit. I want to work to the edge for truth, but they can find any trump-up charges to arrest anybody they want today.
Well, yeah. I'm still trying to figure out why they ain't called me.
I'm surprised. Why did they call me? All because I called Joe Santoro by accident?
Yeah, exactly. I've been calling, you know, the whole time I was calling these guys every day and putting them on the air. Nobody called me. And I didn't get, you know, I didn't get any bullshit from the FBI. I feel left out.
Well, you could take my call, man, because I've had insomnia ever since.
You know, I'm kidding. You know, I have always presented this the best I could in the most vanilla manner that I could. I've actually had to delete a couple of my videos because, you know, I saw stuff and I'm like, losing my mind on air. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't need to be on air. That's just me losing my mind instead of actually reporting the news. But you know, that's why I send people like Sherry and them, you know, to these events, because, you know, if I had gone there, I'd probably be sitting right next in the next jail cell. So.
Yeah, I mean, I went online and verified that this, because you said it was FBI agent Casey, and I verified. He said he was the only Casey. I verified. I wouldn't call the FBI back, obviously, but I verified through the internet that there is a Casey in the Chicago place. So I take it that it was a legit call, and he told me the area code number that I had called and what call he was talking about, which matched up to Joe's. So he was calling about the call I made to Joe.
All right, so there you go, folks. You got another story that it sounds legitimate. It sounds legitimate. Sounds legitimate as hell to me, because I already know who she's talking about.
And on just the last note, I want to tell you, he said he could care less about what happens to everyone that's locked up right now. They can rot for all he cares. And if any of us wanted to, we can come to his border. So kind of a threat to me, but he could care less what happens to them. He's done with everyone.
Who said that?
Mark said that. And I've got that in writing from private messages.
All right. You know what? Can you do me a favor? Because I will publish the scrap.
Okay.
Send that all to me in email, but I need full context.
Now, just a reminder, we had 2 phone conversations. A lot of it was on the phone. his phone number, Mark's phone number, is in those PMs for you too.
No, I'm talking about if he has texted you anything.
It wasn't anything by text. It was all Facebook private message.
Oh.
And most of it was phone calls, but there is some Facebook private messages.
All right. Well, if you have any of this in text whatsoever, screenshot it, all that kind of stuff, just send it to me, and we'll build a new case.
Okay. Will do. And, I mean, I can back up anything he said on the phone to me, and his phone number's in there if you'd like to give him a contact call and see if he'd like to come on your show.
Yeah, you know what? I've never been able to get his number.
I've got it. He sent it to me.
All right, well, send it to me, and I'll cold call his ass on air.
Please do. Are you going to put your email then up in the chat, or how am I going to get that?
Oh, crap! I keep forgetting. Hold on.
I know Wee knows me.
Hold on. I will put it in the video.
Okay, grabbing a paper and I'll write it down, and you'll have it here in a few minutes. Gotcha. Nitehawk at freedomslips.com. Thank you, Mayor. Roan Mayor, another horse lover like me. All right, that'll work. Thank you much. I just wanted to let you know I've been subscribed to your station. This is my first time actually coming over, and you've got me now. Loving it.
All right, and I'm getting that. I'm getting an email in there. I don't know what something happened to my video producer thing, and I lost everything and had to start over. So let's see. I think I spelled that right. I am my own worst enemy when it comes to typos. So
You're more than welcome, fine. And yes, this is Roan Mayor, Lady Horse, whatever you want to call me. It's also Terry. So.
Hi, Terry. I'm Becky.
Yep, horses in my life.
Yep. That's. See, I'm anti-BLM. I've been fighting the BLM for years over the Wild Mustang.
Oh, there's stories there, aren't there, Dale?
Yeah. So I was already anti-BLM, and when the rancher thing came up, I was on it.
They're not only doing it to the Stangs and the Burros, but now they're going after the buffaloes. So I had a whole article on that the other day.
Yes. I also got another lady doing a series of articles on them. I know that's off subject about the Mustangs, but I just wanted to call in and let you know what contact, that I accidentally had called Joe. Joe told me about Mark. I saw Mark. I get a call from an FBI. Pretty scary stuff to me, but something's really screwy right there.
Yeah, there's always something up, and I tried to call Joe a few times after this all went down, and I've never been able to make contact. I just keep getting voicemails. So anyway.
Well, I'll be sending that to you right now, and you'll have his phone number directly.
All
Don't tell him you got it from.
Well, I have a phone number for him. I just want to compare it.
Okay.
Because they're
And you're talking for Joe and for Mark, right?
Yeah. I want to compare these numbers to make sure you ain't getting buffaloed too, because I've been buffaloed a hell of a lot of time when people are saying that they're somebody that they are not. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Actually, another let me come on live because I was starting to get buffaloed. I started to kind of get ignored. I felt the tension, and they thought I was like a big security threat, all because of this. And I turned 47 in less than an hour. I'm a female just rescuing horses here in Ohio. I've never known any FBI or been related to any kind of law enforcement whatsoever. And it really, I don't want something like that to divide. I know people need to be vetted and we need to be cautious, but we can't divide each other with this stuff either.
Yes, exactly. There was he wanted me to put my reporter with somebody named Rocky or something like that. And, you know, and Sherry she's pretty observant of her surroundings. As you guys have seen, if you go back and look at the videos, she was the reporter we paid to go up there and cover all this. And, you know, and he put us in touch with somebody named Rocky. And she freaked Sherry out so bad, she's like, I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to talk to her anymore. So, you know, there just seems to have been a lot of infiltration and a lot of BS going on up there, and a lot of people that were working against it all, and not that the guys were bad. I just, you know, doing what they were doing, but they kind of got themselves in their own trouble because they were not checking out anybody. They were just trying to be, all right, we're up here protesting. We're up here doing this. If you want to come in, come in. If you don't want to come in, don't come in. Whatever. We're cleaning up the place and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and it ended up with everyone in solitary confinement and one man murdered. And I'll never say it was anything other than complete and total murder homicide.
Yeah, it was. I give them that they didn't, you know, they didn't check out people. They didn't have their security set up good, you know, as far as watching who was coming in and out and all that. But it was their real first public movement. So I also understand where all the errors come from, and they were just letting everybody in. But I, for one, am just a truth seeker and want truth and transparency. And if I have to sacrifice a little bit for that, so be it, because it's for my children and my grandchildren. And I'm done with the corruption. We have to stop this.
Well, we got to do something, and I'm not sure what yet, but, you know, I think all these rallies need to get bigger.
Do you know what my suggestion is on the rallies? Did you see Sergeant Moe's rally?
Yeah. You know, I've had Sergeant Moe on here more than once. She's my court reporter at the moment.
Did you see how they had sheriffs and state level people, candidates, come out who said they all swear into the Constitution? There's a big difference. I don't like the word get a constitutional sheriff in, because they all swear into the Constitution. We need an enforcer of the Constitution to be sworn in.
Well, yeah, definitely.
And I think at some of these rallies, we need to bring some of these candidates that are ready to enforce the Constitution, and us patriots ourselves try out for those positions. Many of us are smart enough to get into those positions, so we can make a change at that level and work up.
Well, yeah, definitely. You know, not to say you're preaching to the choir, but you're definitely preaching to the choir at this point. Was me, anyway.
Yeah, more for the speakers, but I mean, I know much of everyone on here already knows the truth, or they wouldn't be here.
And
but when we're out at the rallies, even the sheep, give them a chance. If we can wake them up, that's good. Get them on our side.
Yeah, gotta keep moving. Hey, listen, drop anchor.
Thank you.
Hey, drop anchor for a minute. I have another caller, area code 530. Who that? Where you at? What you got to say?
Hey, it's just Argyle again. I have a possible solution for ending the corruption, and it kind of ties into a new website that I'm kind of developing on the side. I'm an IT guy by trade, so if any of you guys have computer problems or whatever, you need some help, let me know. I can offer some assistance. But anyways, I'm trying to develop this website, and the whole idea is basically, it's called Out the Crooked. And what it's going to be basically a map of the United States, and you click on your state that you're a constituent of, and it will link you to the actual .gov petitions to get that person out of office. And now the stipulation is once you start one of those petitions, you've got 30 days to get 100,000 signatures. So once I fire this up, I'm going to be hitting out all the alternative media outlets and really spreading the word. And if we get 100,000 signatures, we could basically replace our whole entire government within about a month.
That would be cool. I can't even get 100 people to go over to the rally site.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. I mean, we have this rally site that I put together, OperationAmericanSpring.us, and I still cannot get even 100 people to get over there and start working.
Yeah, I just heard about that site tonight on the chat here tonight, so I'm still getting connected to all you guys that are kind of posting new stuff and stuff.
Yeah, you know, that's cool. I mean, it's just like trying to get anything done in this is a tooth puller, and unless there is certain, a month and a half ago, we were pulling 1,000, 2,000 people nightly on our show. And it was because there was just always seemed to be, threat of certain death and blood. And now we're looking at, 30, 40, whatever. So, and it kind of gives you an idea of the mentality of America. In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a kind of a snapshot image of the people out there. They, there's an event that's big in the news, and then once it's out of the news, there's another event. And also the people that are, kind of producing these events, I'll use that term producing because after a while it kind of looks like a big show after a while, it's all kind of like overly produced.
Yeah, and looking for blood sport. You understand what I'm saying? I just, it's just like, I see a lot of people that over the last couple of months, I see a lot of people looking for blood sport, and and I ran out of blood sport, so I have no blood sport to promote, so not many people care, so it kind of puts it in. We go from 2,000 to less than 100. So then we get a percentage of the people that actually care. Let's just call it a cross-section of the nation. So 2,000 and say 41. So, you break down that percentage and you can actually call America that right there. 2%.
What's really interesting is we only got that X many viewers, but look at the likes that you've got on this one video alone. You've got, at least the last count I see, 1,212 likes on the video. That's kind of interesting.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are looking at it. A lot of people are looking at this stuff post. That's fine, but I'm sure you can understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
But I'm definitely one of those ones that will not let the issue die down. I want to keep pushing this and keep building the momentum.
Yeah, definitely. This issue cannot be left to... until this ends, it cannot be left alone.
Right.
So anyway, my dinner is done. It's late for me. I got one more caller coming in, and then I'm going to chuck my ass out of here.
Can I make this one statement, Hawk?
Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
Just remember, folks, we are a little bit more powerful than the dimwit president. We still have power of pen, paper, and phone also. So get at it.
Hello. My dinner is done. Hello.
We can hear you, but you need to shut off your radio.
Oh, sorry. That's a. Is this? I was just wondering if this is that call in. This is James D.
Yeah, you're fine. Just hold on. We're also in the middle of a call, and there's other people on the call, so just please stand by. Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem. Go ahead, Terry.
Just pick up the phone, call your congressman, your representatives, call people that you know and get them involved. We've got to get this going. We've got to be able to stand up. Hawk knows how mad I get about it, so we've got to keep going. We can't let this drop. We've got to keep pushing it forward and keep it in the limelight. And I'm done, Hawk. You can go on to your next caller so you can get to your eats.
Yeah, changes need to be made. Area code 925, you're next in line. Who dat? Where you at? What you got to say?
Yeah, how's it going, bro? This is James D. I have a channel. I posted a video of yours that you just put out.
Yeah, hey, James, I run your videos quite often too.
Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, I just found that out. I didn't even know you guys were doing that with my videos. I mirror a lot of videos, so probably some of the videos that you run are somebody else's, but I always give them props. But anything that comes across my attention that I feel is view-worthy for my viewers, I throw on my channel too. And so I just wanted to give you guys props on that find with that Photoshop. I've talked to a lot of people who deal with Photoshop a lot, and that's 100% in their eyes Photoshopped.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, that's not my forte at all. But that is too damned obvious me. You know, that whole thing was just too freaking obvious for me to ignore. And it's the same with the video. You know, think about who had the video, who had China Cox's video, who released that video. You know what I mean? It's the same thing, bro. You know, all their evidence that they're releasing that is so-called, you know, their evidence is all botched and spliced, and you know what I mean? You don't see what's really there, and they're not ever going to release the dash cam or the body cam or the audio. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Well,
and, but I just want to give you guys props, bro.
Yeah,
for finding that, and
well, yeah,
you know, a lot of people have commented on that, like, yeah, that's definitely Photoshop. So I just want to put my 2 cents in there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, definitely. You know, that you're saying the same thing I'm saying. I mean, even my wife, who can't even figure out how to burn a DVD, God love her, looked at that and goes, "That doesn't look right."
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, bro, you can see the pattern lines are totally like opposite.
Yeah, yeah. You know, my wife is not a computer person. She plays a little bit of video games on Facebook and runs, you know, she does our seed shipping and stuff, but my wife is not a computer person.
I'm not either. I'm just a carpenter, bro. I'm a veteran, I'm a patriot, I'm a carpenter, and you know, I'm trying to get people to wake up to our freedoms being continually taken away every single day.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why I put her quote on that. I said, "Well, what are you seeing here?" And she goes, "Well, that don't look right."
Yeah, it didn't look right at all. As soon as I saw the picture, I was like, oh, shit. I saw the spot right away. I was like, man, I saw that. Excuse my language. But I saw that right away.
All right. Well, thank you much for calling in, dude.
Hey, you guys keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you guys. And let's get our freedoms back, everybody. Peace out.
All right. Thanks much. All right. So it looks like area code 416. You're next. Who dat? Where you at? What's up?
Hello, this is Nick, calling from the Socialist, Fascist, Nazi, Communist Police State of Canada.
Okay.
Uh-huh. It's all lost up here. We're done. We got Chinese soldiers on every corner. They're, you know, they act like business people and whatnot. The reason they're not being as brutal here, like killing people, like they're doing down there, is because Canadians will get on the bus just like the Jews did. When they're told to get on the bus, they will. And they'll be hauled off, no problem.
Okay.
Excuse me. That put me into a laughing seizure.
Oh my God. What was that?
This is Skippy. I'm running for president.
Was that a drive-by or what?
Yeah, it was a drive-by.
Okay.
It happens. All right, folks. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We're going to get out of here.
Nighthawk.
Good night, guys.
Night, Jerry.
Peace out. Peace out, folks. Thanks so much. Oh, my God. That was freaking hilarious. Thank you for the comedy show at the end.
Move it or I'm putting it on the news. Move that car or move it or I'm putting you on the news.
Go ahead.
I'm putting you on the news. Move that stupid car. Move it. Move it or lose it. That's right, move it. You better move it.
Dave, shut up.
Move it. You better move it.
Shut your mouth. Tell us what business.
You better move it or I'll put it on the news. I will put it on the news. I'm putting you on the news.
Put me on the news.
I'm putting this on the news. Get away from my car. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. I'm putting you on the news.
Put me on the news.
I'm putting you on the news. I'm putting you on the news. I'm talking about the 6 o'clock news. You're going to be on it. Don't get back here. Get back here. And I'm going to put you on the news. I'm putting you on the news.
Great.
I'm putting you on the news.
Why?
Because I'm putting you on the news.
Okay.
Can I help you, sir?
Yeah, I'm putting you on the news.
For what reason, sir?
I'm putting you on the news. I do not need a reason.
I need you to go, sir, before I call the police.
I'm putting you on the news.
For what reason, sir?
I'm putting you on the news.
Yeah, well, I'm calling the police.
I'm putting you on the news.
Yeah, well, I'm calling the police.
I'm putting you on the news.
Perspective is completely whimsical and
I'm putting you on the news. Good night. Have a great night. Morning, next day, etc. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks much, folks. I'll talk to you later. Peace out and have a great one.